What's good, everyone? What's good? I was just live on the other channel, Chauncey One Two, and and if you haven't subscribed, go subscribe to that channel because that's probably gonna be my main channel. I may start uploading on this channel once all the strikes disappear, which I think is July. But I think I got 2 strikes off this bitch already. So, but everyone go subscribe to Chauncey One Two if you haven't. I'm sure everyone who watches this already watches that. But that's where I've been at. For all you guys who are watching me on my original channel and you're like, why haven't I uploaded? It's because I've been on Chauncey One too. So go subscribe to that channel because that's where I do mainly my uploading. But I was just doing a live stream on there, and then I cut it off and I was like, let me just do it on here. So yeah, I want to speak about what's going on with the system and how people keep saying, because a lot of my subscribers, they always ask me in my chat when I'm doing live, like, when is the system going to collapse, and um they want to know, like, when is it going to collapse. But what you guys got to understand is, don't look at the system collapsing, look at individuals' lives collapsing. You see what I'm saying? Look at the things that are happening that is not going to allow people to enjoy the system. Look at individual people's lives collapsing. Look at people going through trials and tribulations. That's an end of their system. We got time speeding up. That's what I named the title, and I named it "Time Speeding Up and System Collapse" because everyone keeps looking at when is the system going to collapse. Don't worry so much about the system collapsing because that is a man-made construct. The system collapse when a man decides it's going to collapse, whether that is the man, aka people wake up, or the man who's the Jewish faggots who they created this shit. If they want it to collapse, because it's their shit. So if they decide they want it to collapse, then it's gonna collapse. If people wake up and we want it to collapse, then it's gonna collapse. But if that doesn't happen, then it's not gonna collapse. If you do see a system collapse or an economic collapse and inflation and all these other things, don't get it twisted that it's a real collapse. This is just the people who create this shit. This is them wanting it to collapse. So they're gonna make the economy fucked up like they have it right now. Like, it doesn't have to be like this. You don't see a bird complaining about the economics of a birdhouse and nest and twigs to fucking build that shit. You don't see that because it doesn't make sense. It's only human beings because human beings are doing it. Whether that be dumbass sheep that don't want to wake up or a dumbass government who wants to create this fucking retarded system. So the system ain't gonna collapse unless a man makes it collapse, whether it be the people or the fucking actual government, the people who made this shit. I don't want to say the government because government, they don't run shit. They're puppets, but you guys know what I mean. But what you guys gotta focus on is people's lives collapsing. Time is already accelerating. It's accelerating faster than it was 10 years ago. That's in it. That within itself is gonna create situations where people can't even enjoy the system like they want to. This is why everything costs more money. Like, for example, you see how inflation in food is going up. Part of the reason why food is going up is because people need to eat less because the days are going by faster. So the government wants you to pay more money for food. There's many reasons, but this is one of the main reasons. They want you to pay more money for food because people need to eat less. We're at a different time and different frequency, so you don't really need to be eating that much. So therefore, food's going to cost a little bit more. The quality of it's going to go down because we're in a different time. You don't need food like that. So it's like time speeding up. That shit within itself is going to collapse the system because people aren't going to be able to enjoy the matrix, enjoy the system. They won't have enough time to really enjoy it. When these dumbass sheep, they go to work and they come home, by the time they come, let's just say you wake up 8 in the morning after sleeping for 8 hours a day. You wake up at 8 in the morning or 6 in the morning and you go to work. You go to work and you come and you work your little bullshit ass job for like 8, sometimes even 12, 16 hours. Crazy motherfuckers. They come home and then they tell themselves, well, I'm doing this to pay bills, or I'm doing this because I need to do this, which is fine and everything. But at the same time, you're wasting your life if you don't have a plan. If you're going to work 16, 12 hours a day, you want to at least have a plan. Say, I'm going to work this stupid dumbass job for like a year, maybe 2 years max. sometimes 6 months. I'm gonna stack up money, then I have a plan, and I'm gonna do this, and that, and then eventually I'm gonna be free. So in about 5, 10 years of me working hard, I won't even say 10 years, like 3 to 5 years of me working hard, stacking up and doing what I gotta do. After 3 to 5 years, I can rest, relax, go on vacation, and have my life. People don't look at it like that because they think they have a lot of time. So now we're at a time where time is accelerating. So you go to work, you come home, and you don't even have time. If you went to work back in 2011, 8 hours a day, and you went and you came home, you had enough time to eat, go do whatever you got to do, go out with friends, hang out, do whatever. You had a lot of time because we're in a different. We were in a different energy. Nowadays, you can't do that. But people are still living like it's 2011. Well, I'm gonna go to work and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna come home, and but at the same time, the time is going by so quick. And before they know it, a lot of these stupid ass people working these 2 to 3 jobs, they're gonna be like 60 years old with a back problem, and they're gonna feel a whole bunch of regrets. This is where you have midlife crisis. A midlife crisis is a person who was once 20, 30 years old, and they didn't actually do what they're supposed to do. So now once you get to like 50, 60, you have a lot of regrets. But what they're not telling you is with time speeding up, if you're like 20 years old, 30 years old, with time speeding up, 60 years old for you, if you're 20 years old watching my video, when you get 60, that's going to be very, very quick. You got to understand that. That's going to be extremely quick. It's going to be very fast. It's not going to be that slow. Like you guys think that, ooh, when I'm 60, I'm 20, I have my whole life ahead of you. No, you don't have your whole life, nigga. It's about to be 2040 real fucking soon. If you don't believe me, just fucking wait. Look at the time right now. As time is speeding up. It's about to be 2040. It's about to be 2050 really fucking soon because time is accelerating. The months are gonna seem, because you guys think it's crazy right now. You guys think it's crazy right now. Just wait. In about 2 years, 3 years, it's gonna be, the time is gonna go so quick. That's within itself is gonna be a system collapse. The system is still gonna keep going, but people aren't gonna have enough time to enjoy their day. So people are gonna be feeling more unfulfilled. And by this time, I won't be surprised if they start getting rid of these jobs and start bringing in certain technologies and changing the way the system is to try to correlate with the time speeding up. That's one of the other reasons they're switching a lot of shit up, because the way the system, this world is gonna be, you're gonna regret wasting all your time working at these 9 to 5. Because when you ask a person, why are you working so much, a lot of these people say, I'm doing it so I can make money. But they don't understand that you're 33 years old. Let's just say you're 33 and you've been working these jobs since you were 18. You missed your whole 20s. You'll never get that back. And you're 33 saying you're doing this to pay bills. By the time you know it, you'll be 43 and things are going to be more expensive. Things aren't going to get cheaper. They want you to think that, oh, the prices of housing are going to come down. The price of food's good. No, why would it come down? First of all, if I have this goddamn little cap, it's a peanut cap, and I say, and some government who created money, the thing that you didn't even know it fucking existed until they taught you in school how to count that bullshit change. If they told you this thing is $500, who are you to say it's not worth $500? First of all, this shit should be free. If you're gonna say this shit should be anything, you should say it should be free. If you're not saying this shit should be free, you should not be saying it's worth $2 instead of $500. Bitch, it's not worth $2. It's not worth $500. It's worth nothing. So if they say that this is $500, who are you to argue with them? Because it's their system they created. If you don't like it, then you create your own system. So why would prices go down? That doesn't make sense. Every time the price, okay, if a banana is $100, somebody's making $100 off a fucking banana. Why would they make the price go down if dumbass human beings keep buying the shit? If you don't want the price to go down, stop participating and buying it. If people are still buying it, and I need to eat, I need to feed my little stupid, raggedy, ugly, dusty ass children, I need to do it, then they're good. Why should they lower it? If I'm paying you $10 every day to fucking, I don't know, just if I'm paying you $10, if I'm giving you $10 every fucking day out of my pocket and you don't got to do shit, are you gonna come to me and say, are you sure you don't want me to wash your car for $10? No, you're gonna keep taking the $10 from me. Why the fuck would you go and negotiate what you should do for my $10 if I'm already freely giving it to you? So why the fuck should prices go down? That's what a lot of these dumbass people, they don't understand shit. They're stupid. So prices ain't going down. Shit's gonna get more expensive. And you working these dumbass jobs, say, oh, I need to stack up, I need to work 2 jobs because I need to make more money. I need to make more money. Bitch, the money you're making right now is gonna be worth less in the future. And the money that you're making right now is worth less than it was 10 years ago. Because 10 years ago, you worked 8 hours a day to get paid $10 an hour. Now you're working 15, you're making 15 an hour, working 16 hours a day. The amount of work you're doing is more work, and you're getting paid because you're getting paid less because of inflation. Even though you're getting paid $15 an hour compared to $10 an hour, it's still less money because of inflation, dumbass. So they're getting more work from you because this is how they get more work from you. They labor is the only money. Human beings actually getting up their asses and producing and creating and building, that's the true labor. And the way they cheat you out of getting more labor is by making you work more for less money. This is inflation. So it's still the same money, or they'll lie to you, we'll pay you $20 an hour instead of 15. But with inflation, you got to work more hours, so they're getting more labor out of you. Now you got all these dumbass people saying work 2 jobs and shit, and they're promoting this shit like it's something good, which in a way, like if you want to stack up and you have a plan, like I said, if you have a plan, then there's nothing wrong with it, but make sure you have a solid good plan. But don't just be working mindlessly just for your fucking bills. That's fucking stupid as fuck. This is how they're cheating a lot of people. And then a lot of these people who are working, they're going to grow up with diseases, they're going to grow up with back pain, problems, issues, mental issues. Shout out to Jay Vaz, create mental illnesses, all that shit. And at that point, you're not going to be able to work no more. And this is where they're going to start killing you off. They're already doing it, but they don't, because they don't like old people. So they're not going to pay you Social Security. Don't think you're going to get that shit. And even if you do get it, it's not going to even be worth anything. You're putting in money with Social Security at your little dumbass job that they're taking from your check. By the time you get 60, you think that shit's going to be worth the same amount of money if you even have that money? Because they're already fucking, because to be honest, your money ain't your money. When you sign that agreement in your bank and you put that money in the bank, that money is not your money. It belongs to them. If you get a stack, if I got $10,000 and I burned it, they can take me to jail for burning money. You're not supposed to destroy it. Even if you go to the Social Security office, they'll have on it's like they have a little TV and it says, please contact the Social Security Fraud Administration if you see any evidence of misuse of Social Security funds. This includes stolen funds. Say something else, and then it said waste of funds. Waste. If you steal Social Security money or if you waste it. So even if it belongs to you and an old person is just wasting it on shit, and the office sees that you're wasting it, they can actually, you can get in trouble and get your Social Security taken away. Because it said waste. I don't know if you go look on the Social Security site. They say if you see any evidence of fraudulent behavior such as this, and it said waste, you can't burn money because it's not your money. That money's supposed to be put back in the system and used. This is why when you have money in your bank account just sitting there, they could tax it. If you have $50 million sitting in a bank account, you owe tax on that money. I don't know how much exactly, but you owe a lot of money in tax, hundreds of thousands of dollars on that money. This is why a lot of these fucking millionaires and billionaires, they'll buy a private jet. And then the stupid broke ass sheep will, oh, why you gonna waste money on a private jet? Bitch, it's more better to buy a private jet than having 50 million sit in a bank account. Because if you fucking with billions of dollars or millions of dollars on a high level, you don't want to have all your money just sitting in a bank. You want to buy like art or certain assets and property so it can appreciate. And if you need that money, you can just sell it. This is what they call liquidity. You take your assets and you sell it to get the cash. You don't just keep cash on you. You put it in something where it's gonna value up. You see what I'm saying? So the money don't belong to you. So this is why they have to do all these stupid dumbass tricks, like I just said, with liquidity and buying assets so the money doesn't get taxed, because the money really ain't yours. Because when we talk about tax and all that, tax is just another word for the average sheep is too fucking retarded and stupid to actually wake up and produce their own system. So since you want to use our system, we're going to tax you for it. That's what a tax is. It's nothing else. They're taxing you because you're allowing it. tax is not something that's justified. What's good with it? Somebody said something Manchester City. I don't know what you saying, but yeah, what's good with it? Yeah, I see you were on my old channel for a long time ago. I see you. Make shout out to Mega Switch Shorts. I see you like an old ass subscriber. You remember me from back in the day. Yeah, you probably not because I haven't seen you comment, so you must have not known. I have another channel. It's called Chauncey12. Check, subscribe to that channel because I know you were on this page for a minute. But like I said, guys, none of this shit, none of that money belongs to you. This is why everything's getting more expensive as well because life is going by faster. So you don't need to spend that much money nowadays. So this is one of the reasons why money is everything costs more money because with time speeding, because remember they tell you time is money. With times accelerating and going by faster, you don't need to spend that much money because the days are going by quicker, but they still need to rob you. So this is why everything is going up in price. Inflation is, this is one of the many reasons. There's many reasons, but this is one of the reasons why everything's inflating because you don't need to eat as much. So the quality of everything's going down. Even like when you see the quality of movies, video games, when they release certain things. Like I fucking bought an iPad, right? Fucking from the store. And I wanted to, because what I was gonna do is I was gonna get my old iPad and I was gonna switch it for the new iPad. But then I saw it was the iPad Air, the new one they just released. And I got it and it wasn't even good. Like the fucking the camera angle, it was on the side. It like I would have had to make videos sideways and shit. It was all retarded. So I just took the shit back. I used it for a day and I just returned it that bitch because I didn't want it. Because I was gonna switch it out, but I was like, it was not. The quality sucks. Like it wasn't good. Like all the quality of everything sucks because corp companies don't have as much time and energy to put in certain in products anymore, in entertainment. This is why everything is trash nowadays. It's because the days is speeding up and we're in a different energy where you have to be more, you have to develop happiness within. It's not really about the material no more. Material things really aren't all that anymore. So it's a less of an emphasis on material. And it's not a bad thing that everything sucks in terms of, like, they want you to think it's a bad thing. Oh, the quality sucks, and the movies suck, or this suck. That's not a bad thing, because if you had internal happiness, it's like you have a natural high of life. And this is what we're supposed to be tapping into in this new age, is that natural high of life, which you get from within. And then when you have that from within, then it amplifies everything around you. So now you'll be able to go take a walk in a park and have fun. Like a lot of you guys say, that's boring. Who the fuck wants to just walk in a park? Give me a big flat screen TV and a fucking gaming setup and call it a fucking day. But if you need all that material shit to be happy, that means you're a very miserable person, because when you see somebody who's able to just do simple shit and be happy, a lot of people will hate on them and be like, oh, look at them, they don't have shit. And he's happy just with just that little fucking small house. But yet you're actually fooled, because it's like somebody who drinks alcohol or takes some drug and they're just sitting in a park laughing, versus somebody who has a whole bunch of material items but they're depressed and miserable because they're bored and they're not fulfilled. I'm not saying drugs is good, because we're supposed to have our own inner high that's natural, so we don't need drugs. But the person on drugs is having a better time than the person with all the material things, even though he has more shit. Because the person with all the material things, he's not happy within. So if you're not happy within, material things isn't going to make you happy, compared to if you're not happy within and you don't have nothing. You see what I'm saying? So it's like that's kind of what it is. We're in a time now where that's where you're supposed to be developing. We're not supposed to be, I'm not saying don't get material shit, because if that was the case, I'll tell you to kill yourself, because the body's material. I'll tell you to stop thinking. A thought is a fucking physical thing. So it's impossible to get rid of material and the physical, but I'm saying it's supposed to be something that is just there. The new thing to develop is inner happiness, inner tranquility. That's the new thing you want in these new times. That's the only thing that's going to bring you in. And to be honest, when you get inner tranquility, that's when you start manifesting and getting most of the shit you need. Like a lot of these stupid ass niggas will tell you, oh, to manifest, you gotta, ain't nobody know. The only way to manifest is to create inner tranquility. If you don't have inner tranquility, you ain't manifesting shit. And then you may say, what about these people? They don't, because there are people who are miserable who manifest shit, but it's not even manifesting. It's just, it's like an example. There's a kid in Africa who's living in a fucking, in a village with no water and in a tent, and they're trying to escape political war. Would you say that your life is perfect compared to theirs? No, your life is better, but you still struggle with problems, right? So it's just like that. When you see a rich person and you say, well, this person didn't manifest, well, they have money. It's the same concept of a poor person in Africa and you. A poor person in Africa is going to say, you're lucky. But in your life, you go through shit. You got to work a bullshit job. You live in a shitty apartment. And then that people, the kid in Africa may say, oh, your apartment looks nice. I live in this building. But at the same time, yeah, it's better than his, but doesn't mean it's good. So when you see a rich person with money, doesn't mean they truly happy and shit. Because it's the spirit and it's the energy within them. They can have all the money in the world and still not be as happy as you because you have a stronger inner world. So you guys always got to keep that in mind. Don't let any of this shit fool you. People don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They talk about, oh, man, to manifest, you got to have inner tranquility. That's it. That's how you manifest. That's the only way you manifest is having inner tranquility. You ain't manifesting shit, and anything you do manifest is going to get taken away from you, or you're not going to enjoy it. So you'll have a bunch of shit, but you're not going to be able to enjoy it. He said eating heavy feels like a chore. Then don't eat heavy. Don't even question it. Just don't eat heavy, and then move on. Don't even make it simple. Don't be like, oh, eating it. Just don't eat heavy. You don't need to eat heavy no more. So that you got to make it simple. Don't even think about it. Don't think too much about it. Just be like, I ain't eating heavy no more, and then move on. That's a past. That's a past part of your life. But yeah, when we talk about the system collapse, don't worry about the system collapsing. Focus on things that are happening because when they say it's the end times, they don't mean the end of time. They mean it's the end of people's time. Everyone is gonna about to be going through a tower moment real soon. Like if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're gonna be going through a tower moment. So this is gonna happen on a grand scale. So it's individual. It's gonna happen differently for everyone. So this is gonna play out, and it can play like this is why the government is able to do a lot of this shit that it's doing because a lot of people deserve all the negative shit the government's doing. So when you see a lot of this inflation, you see a lot of this poverty, a lot of people deserve to be in it because they refuse to actually do what they got to do. Remember I told you in my last video, every single person that I see that complains about finances and money, they're the actual problem. Don't say that. I'm not saying the government doesn't play a role in it, but if the government played a role in it 100%, then every single person on this planet will be in poverty. But you see in actual real life that there's people who grew up from nothing and still overcame poverty. There's people who had mental illness and overcame mental illness. There's people who are fat motherfuckers, just to keep it correct. Fat motherfuckers, but then they got healthy and they overcame their health problems or whatever. Any negative thing that you say that the government's responsible for, life is doing this to you or you're getting attacked by demons, somebody overcame that shit. So you always got to keep that in mind. So when you see people on YouTube complaining about life, you guys got to understand, like even all the times in my life that I was down fucked up, or even certain things that I'm going through now, I know like there's certain things, like there's nothing in my life that's negative that's happening to me right now that I can be like I don't have no responsibility in it. There's nothing. Everything that's happening to me or happened to me, I see where I fucked up years ago, and I should have did something else. Anybody that's acting like they're a victim and then people are just out to get them, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. These are people who are these are what you call the sheep. These are the program bots. You guys, the program bots go beyond just oh, this person doesn't believe in spirituality, they believe in God. No, program bot is anybody that's taking on the government's programming on what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that they're responsible for all your problems, so therefore you have no choice but to just give up because you're just a fucking like all this other, like they'll make you say, oh, I'm just I have no value, or I'm just depressed, and they want you to identify as that. No, that's just because of the mistakes you made, and then that's where it ends. You can change that shit, but it takes work. It's not easy, because if it was easy, everyone would do it. Because like every right now, you'll see everyone complaining about the price of food, but if you look at the actual, if you go into these people's lives who are complaining about money, food, and these people are keep attacking me, if you actually look at their life, in their daily life, they have no discipline. They just want to feel good. They just want to be happy and shit. And this world is not a happy place. Like you, I don't want to say you can't feel, because what it is that you guys are trying to feel good without actually doing the work to actually feel good. So you want material things to make you feel good. You want this to make you feel good. You want this situation to happen. You want this money to come. Whereas you're supposed to be happy within and be happy going through the stresses of life. You're supposed to develop a joy and a contempt for, even if you're going through hell, you're able to still be happy because you know that there's an end goal and you're on a mission. That's what you want to find, because when you have that, then you can go through bullshit in life and still have joy. Not happiness, but joy, because happiness is, it comes and goes. You can be happy that you won some money, but after you spend some of the money, and your pleasure receptors get burnt out because you've fucked so much, or you played that game so much, or you bought too many cars, and the pleasure receptor goes out, then the happiness isn't going to be the same as when you first got the money. So now you need something else. So to circumvent that stupid ass shit, you want to go within and develop a joy and a contempt. And this always has to do with your spirituality and your spiritual purpose and knowing self. Then once you have all that under control, then you automatically, you're in the game. So now you can lose some money, you can go through a hardship or go through problems, and you still have that joy because you know you're on the path, you know you're on the mission, and you're looking at life as a movie. You're not looking at it, oh, this happened to me. You're looking at it like, oh, well, shit happened. That's how you have to do it. You don't get caught up in the bullshit. This is why every single, when I tell you, every single person that I see in my real life on the internet that talks about, well, I don't know people on the internet because I don't know them personally in their real life. But when I see people in my personal life and they complain about, oh, I'm depressed, or this person is doing this, or I'm broke, like every person in my personal life that complains about money, they're a fucking idiot. I don't know anybody. I'm not saying there's people with money who are smart, because they're idiots, but it's in a different way. But everybody that I see that says they're broke and they're complaining about money, they're an idiot. When you look at the stupid shit they spend their money on, when you look at how much lack of discipline they have, when you look at the way they think, the way they feel things are supposed to happen, people have a misconstrued perception of life. And I blame this, the way the education system, the shit on TV, because in the movies they always make it like the good guy wins, the princess gets the prince charming at the end. um it's, they always cater it to something positive, where that's really not life. And then they make people think that something positive has to happen for you to be happy, where in all actuality that doesn't make sense, because there's serial killers who got a fucking rape dungeon and a torture chamber, and they're happy doing that. So that doesn't make any fucking sense. What is happiness? What that fucking crazy ass demented fuck is doing in his basement? Or like, what's the fuck is happiness? It doesn't make any sense. So this is why you guys gotta understand, like, it's not even about that. It's like it's not about that. You want to develop your happiness from within, and you do this by knowing yourself. And People, a lot of you guys would say, how do you do that? If you have to ask that question, you're fucking lost. Like that, it's just like me telling you how to eat or how to breathe. Nigga, it's common sense. Do what you be yourself. If you can't be yourself or you don't know how to be yourself, then you need to break that government programming, because the only thing that can keep you from being yourself is your lack of will or government programming. And that's what it is government programming. Government has programmed people so much to think that life is about stupid shit. This is why you got dumbass people out here, like, instead of actually analyzing their life and taking steps forward to better themselves, they feel like their only solution is to work 3 jobs and work 13 hours a day or 16 hours a day. Go ahead and do that, and then by the time you're 50 years old, you're gonna have a whole bunch of regret and go through a midlife crisis, wishing you would have did what you did younger. You're gonna be doing it at 50, and this is why you see midlife crisis niggas buying motorcycles and dressing like a kid, because they want to do the shit that they wish they done when they were younger. Because, like I said, with time speeding up, nigga, the year 2040, 2050, that year's gonna come by extremely fast. By the time we're in 2035, it's gonna be faster than by the last time we were in 2019 or 2018. It's gonna go by faster than you guys can imagine, and you don't have to believe me. Just wait and see. You already see we're already halfway through the year. We're already like more than halfway through the year, because we just started June. So next year's gonna be even quicker. So time is just going to be going by fast. So if you don't have a game plan, you're going to find yourself the next 3 years of your life has just been wasted working for what? I already told you, niggas, inflation is not going down. So what's the point of you? Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't work, but if you work, have a plan. If you're just working to pay bills, you're dumb, because pretty soon, why do you think they're laying everybody off? Every place is getting laid off, because pretty soon you're not going to be able to afford shit with any of these jobs. Even with a $20 hour job, they say, oh, we need to raise the minimum wage to $20 an hour. You're not even going to be able to afford shit with that, because the prices are going to just keep going up. Because what's happening is the economy is restructuring. The economy is not collapsing; it's restructuring. Right before, we were in the economy where there was a middle class. We had a lower middle class, upper middle class, and everyone could afford everything within reason. If you fucking were a middle class, then you have to get a Toshiba. If you were a high class, then you got a Samsung. Or same with the cars. You low class, you got a Honda. If you're a high class, you got a Range Rover. We're coming into a time where it's either you're rich and you have shit, or you're broke and you don't have shit. And you're going to be renting shit and taking public transportation, because what they're going to do is they're going to get rid of all the vehicles. They already said in California by 2035 they're not going to be selling any more gasoline vehicles. They're trying. This is why. Why do you think if you go on these car dealerships, on these channels, they're talking about how nobody's buying cars no more, and these dumbass car dealerships would be like, "Oh, the reason nobody's buying cars is because inflation, and they're producing all these cars." No, they're creating inflation and producing cars because they don't want you driving. They're trying to. Why do you think they're trying to build all these fucking multi-billion-dollar light rail train that goes through the whole state of California? They're building transportation that's going to go through the whole, because they want all the broke ass people to take buses and transportation, and then only rich people are going to be driving like flying cars and EV electric vehicles. And because cars and all that shit is going to be so expensive, you're going to have to be rich. It's going to be a poor and a rich. That's what it's going to be. And we're going into that time. If you don't believe me, you think I'm just talking, look at inflation. It's going to imagine inflation in the next 5 years. If you can't afford shit now, imagine in 5 years if it doesn't stop. Now do you understand what I fucking say that is gonna be a rich versus poor? Because the people who got millions of dollars, they're not complaining about the system and shit, the financials. It's only the people who are middle class and poor complaining about it. You see what I'm saying? So like I'm telling niggas, like, this is why I say, like, don't even worry about all that system collapse and all that shit, because what you need to worry about is doing what you gotta do, worry about yourself, and then once you do that, you're gonna notice your life's gonna change, and you're gonna see how other people, rich or poor, their lives are gonna just go worse. So just because you got money doesn't mean your life's gonna be good. That don't mean shit. There's a lot of shit that could happen to you. These fucking stupid ass kids with that fucking, they got that fucking fake ass Nerf gun. I swear, if they shoot, they better not shoot my fucking car. You better not shoot my motherfucking car. Better not shoot my motherfucking car. I wish I could turn the camera around. Got my motherfucking mace. Little fucking bastards, man. Bunch of stupid ass kids. But they have no opportunity. If those kids aren't spiritual, they have no opportunity. In 2024, if you're not spiritual, if you're not on the path and the frequency to know self, you have no opportunity. You're gonna fail at life. The Masons, they already sewed it up. The only thing that's gonna save you is you knowing self and your spirit, because they can't intervene on that shit. But if you're not spiritual, if you're one of these fucking people who just live in life like on the whim and not doing shit, then you're gonna end up like in a horrible position, because they already have the future laid out for everyone. Like, it doesn't have to be like, if you're on your path and you know yourself, none of that shit has to happen, because you're gonna be already tapped into a certain frequency, which is gonna translate to a vibration. Therefore, the actions and the moves that you take, the places that you walk, the things you say is gonna put you in a position where none of that shit fucks with you. So the only work you have to do is just know yourself and do what you got to do to know self, and then you're gonna automatically be in that space. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. You can be in the most horrible situation. This is why I say don't be listening too much on people on the internet. Say, oh, the way to make money is to open a business. The way to make money is to do this. Don't get me wrong. Some people, maybe they need to do that. But some of you guys, it could play out in a whole numerous amount of ways. Anything can happen. Though I don't even want to say like how it's gonna happen. Just be on the path and shit what happened, because you know how you guys see like a lot of you guys who are into gang stalking, you say, oh, I'll go here and people keep following me and this keeps happening, but you don't, nobody talks about the positive side of gang stalking, where the same gang stalking happens but positive scenarios happen, like positive gang stalking. Like, you go to this place and then all these people come, or right when you were here, this motherfucker had to show up, or somebody called you at the wrong time. That's negative gang stalking. But the positive version is you on your path and things just happen to you out of the fucking blue. And don't even think too much about it. Don't be like, oh, this is gonna. All I gotta say is be on your path and do your thing and put yourself out there in life. Like, go to different places, do things. Don't just stay in one spot, because that's going to limit your opportunities of how much the spirit can give to you. If you're out here walking around, you're going places, you're doing things, you're putting yourself into different energies positively, then that allows more things that happen to you, circumstances that happen to you. So you also, this is why you want to work on yourself and actively put yourself into things and do things. So I love how Chauncey Wan is about this reality. Unlike most people or spiritualists who likes to dish out. Yeah, a lot of these spiritualists a lot of these people are very most spiritual people are very traumatized and damaged, is what I've come to realize. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I got issues, and I tell you guys I got issues. I don't give a fuck about speaking my issues. I don't give a shit about saying my issues. But a lot of people, they act like they don't have issues, but in all actuality they actually do have issues. I'm at a point right now where I don't even really trust anybody at this point. If you watch too many spiritual videos, I don't even know if I can fuck with you, to be honest, because you're too damn spiritual. And I don't say that because real spirituality is not what I'm talking about. This fake spirituality, how many videos I can watch about Anunnaki aliens and how many crystals I have to stick up my ass to manifest a fucking sage candle to kill off some demons, all that shit. That's that bullshit. The real spirituality is actually getting up your ass and doing things that have nothing. No, 9 out of 10 times have nothing to do with what you think spirituality is. Like, a lot of people, they think spirituality is watching a lot of videos. That's not what it is. I can understand at one point you thought that, but we in a different time. It's 2024. Like, you can even look. A lot of the shit I'm saying right now, if I said this years ago, people would say I'm talking shit. But if you guys actually look at reality, go on social media, you already know most people aren't spiritual. It's very, very few people that are spiritual. Most people are just very damaged, and they use spirituality as a crutch because it made them feel at ease. Or it may not even be spirituality. It could be somebody who's just very fucking mentally ill. Like these feminists, these mentally ill niggas out here who just fucking just dumb. Just it don't matter the gender. And then their version of coping is going on this social media and finding other mental ill patients just like them. And since they can agree with them, they feel better about their situation. Like they feel better being a loser or a bum. Like there's actually people who are scumbags, trash. They don't have nothing to offer themselves. And they feel good because they're on the internet and they made a YouTube page where other people can relate to them. So they think they're doing something good. You got people actually out here like this. It's fucking crazy. So this is dangerous because now they're not doing the work. They think, oh, I got people to accept my bullshit, which at the end of the day, like I don't need nobody to accept shit. I just gotta accept myself. But other people, they need people to accept them, which is dangerous because if you allow some people to accept you, you could be on some bullshit. So now this leaves an opportunity for the universe to have to make life not accept you. Like if people don't accept you and you get it, then you know to change your ways. You see what I'm saying? Like if you stink or you did something that's foul, you don't want motherfuckers to say that's good because you're gonna think you're even though you know it's bad, you're gonna think that it's okay to keep doing it. But if you do that, then life is gonna have to show you, and then now an actual situation has to play out to make you stop doing it. You see what I'm saying? Like now you may have to get in a car accident, you may have to get in an injury or an accident. You may have to lose somebody that you care about, lose some money, get something negative is gonna happen, and then that's gonna have to wake you up. And then the dangerous thing about that is sometimes that can either wake you up or it can make you even worse. It can make you realize you got to be on a different track, or that can traumatize you and anger you to the point it makes you so in your ego that you're like, you know what, fuck this shit, and then you go even harder at what you were not supposed to be doing. Like let's just say somebody's not supposed to be doing A, B, and C. Something happens in life that makes them to teach them that they're not supposed to be doing A, B, and C. They can take it and be like, oh, I'm not going to do this no more. Or they can get more in their ego and be like, you know what? This motherfucker tried to stop me from doing A, B, and C. I'm going to do it even harder. So now they do it even harder. And then now they didn't learn the lesson. That's why you got to know, like, but it's like, and I'm not saying you need motherfuckers to accept you. At the end of the day, like, I don't trust anybody like that. Like a lot of these stupid ass niggas, like, perfect example. A lot of these stupid ass niggas out here, right? They'd be like, if you want a female, you have to be successful. You have to have the money. You have to have the body. You have to have the physiques. No, you don't, you stupid fuck. If I had 200 pounds of muscle on me and I had $200 million and I had 200 situations that happened to me that were positive, I would not trust any bitch that comes near me because I'm going to know the only reason you're near me is because I'm successful and I'm great and I'm the shit. I would trust a female if I was on the street bummy with nothing to come at me. This is why I would never trust any bitch because I don't expect a female to come at me if I'm on the street bummy. But if I have my shit together, I don't trust you. I will fuck you and I would leave you, but I would never take you serious because I'm not a dummy. A lot of these niggas are dumb. I know you only like me because I'm successful. If you like me because I'm successful, I don't trust you. You see what I'm saying? I don't trust anybody that respects me because I'm successful. If you didn't respect me when I was down, or if I see you talking down about a homeless person and you see that I have money and I have a money and a body and a situation and you respect me because of that, fuck you. I don't trust you. I look at you like you're a fucking demon because you're only looking at the illusion. So, like, this is why a lot of these red pill niggas, oh, you have to have money to get a girl. No, that's how you be a fucking sucker. That's how you be a sucker ass nigga. This is why you can't trust nobody. You can't, especially these bitches. You can never trust no bitch. There's bitches in my family I don't fucking trust. So if I can't trust a female in my fucking family, you think I'm gonna trust these stupid raggedy dankhead bitches? The only way I'll ever trust a stupid dankhead bitch is if I'm on the lowest and I'm just being myself authentically and I'm running and doing it, and then they come to me, and then at that point, then I might trust them. But if I'm in a good situation and if I have to act proper, professional, and have money, and I'll be like, in my mind, I'll be like, fuck you, bitch. I don't get me wrong, I'll fuck with them and sleep with them and fuck with them and shit, have fun. But you're not gonna get nothing more than dick, and that's it. Stupid ass bitch. The fuck you think I am? Like that's how you have a lot of these suck ass niggas out here. Like I don't even respect. Like I did. I'm at a point right now. Like there's certain things. Like when years ago, there were certain people that I knew in my life that treated me a certain way that I respected. But over time, they started treating me different because of certain situations, and it made me kind of glad that I didn't get certain things that I have now back then. Because if I had the things I have now that I didn't have back then, I would have helped them out. But back then, when they were nice and cool with me, I didn't have certain things, so I really couldn't help them. But over time, when I was hanging out with them and I didn't have nice things and I didn't have certain things, they started ridiculing me about that, saying, "Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?" And then by the time I actually did it, those people tried to say something to me, and I was like, you know what? Fuck you. I didn't say it physically, but I just distanced myself because when I didn't have anything, you were telling me why I should have this. And then when I do get it, you want to be nice to me. Bitch, you fake as fuck. Get the fuck out of here. If I'm successful and I'm doing great, I don't fuck with anyone unless you're successful on my level or higher. When you're successful, don't fuck with anybody below you. Look down upon them. Treat them like shit. It's not a bad thing. Sometimes the universe will make situations where energies like that have to be present to get you to be on your shit. You got to take things and transmute energy. I'm not saying you guys should do anything negative, but a lot of things that I did to help me in life, nigga, I let anger fuel me. Sometimes I'd be hella mad. I'd be like, well, I don't want to get into it. There's no point in getting into certain things. Because I know how fucking sensitive people are and how religious people are. But, oh, you did that, or you don't shut your ass up, bitch. You ain't my fucking mama. You ain't paying my bills. And that's another thing. If anybody ain't paying your bills, fuck what they got to think. All you niggas that are living in a house, you guys have your situation. You doing your thing. Don't forget that. Don't forget what this world is. This world ain't shit. If you were on the street homeless right now, if you didn't have your parent you were staying with, if you didn't have the money you had, and you were on the street, always remember there will be people that won't give a fuck about you. They won't care about you. Always remember that. Don't get too comfortable just because you got your little money, you got your situation, you got your parents taking care of you. You think the world is sweet. If you didn't have that situation, if you went broke, nobody would give a fuck about you. They wouldn't care what you're gonna eat tomorrow, where you're gonna sleep. Always keep that in mind. And don't forget that this is the type of world we live in. This world ain't shit. That's why I don't give a fuck what any. That's how I speak the way I speak. I don't give a fuck what motherfuckers say. Oh, you cuss. I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch. You ain't paying my fucking bills. There's people in my motherfucking family who ain't shit. Who I say who ain't shit. So if I said that they ain't shit, nigga, who the fuck is you? And you see what I'm saying? Telling me like people are retarded. This is what it's. This is why you have so many hateful people in this world. So many evilness, so many criminals. Like people, I feel like people genuinely want to be good. Everybody is trying to be good, but this world and this society creates monsters. Now you have people out here who go and scam an old lady for $100,000 and steal her whole life savings. But then when you think deep, it's like, can you really blame them? Because if they were broke on the street and they didn't have shit, nobody would care about that person. That person would be homeless on the street, dying from hypothermia. So I'm not saying it's right that he did that, but I just say we're in a situation where it's like it's fucked up. You really ain't nobody really that bad. If you want to say anybody's that bad, it's the people who create the situations for people to even be in a mindset to feel like they gotta go and do this, this, and this just to get ahead. AKA these fucking faggot J words. and God forbid you be successful. People will hate on that too. They'll hate on you when you don't have shit. They'll hate on you when you got money. You know how many times I see people, oh, he's just he doesn't have a real job. He's an influencer. He just makes videos on YouTube, or go work somewhere, go get a real job, go do this. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Why? So we can be miserable like you, bitch? So we can waste the life like you? Just because you're miserable? Because what you see is a lot of these old people, they're miserable. They've spent their whole life being miserable, being sad, being disappointed, not being fulfilled, and they're used to it. Because when you get old, you're used to the same shit. So when they see somebody who's like in their 20s that doesn't want to be in that trap, they're like, oh, you're not man enough. You can't handle being miserable and not living a fulfilling life like I did it. I did it for 40 years. You should do it too. Go get a real job. Shut your bitch ass up. You just want people to be miserable like you. Like, this is why, like, anybody that says we need a cure for cancer, we need a cure for diabetes, we don't need no cure. The cure is eating healthy and being disciplined. If you can't do that, then you deserve to fucking die. A lot of these old ass people out here, they have a lot of diseases. They need to get the fuck up out of here. They don't need to be living that long. You want old people to, you want the boomers to live another 30 years? They need to get the fuck out of here ASAP. We don't need no cure for diabetes. We don't need no magic pill. We already do have a cure for diabetes. That's eating healthy, fasting, Qigong, yoga, and holistic healing and being spiritual. We already have that cure. Most people don't like to do that because it's too hard. It's too much discipline. It's not mainstream and status quo, so they can't do it. So that right there is what they call natural selection. You see what I'm saying? It's natural selection. It's going to kill them off. So we don't need that. We don't need that shit. Even when you see those fucking bald-headed, ugly-ass rats that they call children in the St. Jude's Hospital. How dare they disrespect the fucking word child with those fucking ugly, bald-headed ass creatures. Even when you see them motherfuckers in the damn fucking hospital. Them motherfuckers, most of them are just going to grow up to be bots, sheep of the Matrix. Be more feminist. Be more stupid-ass workers that aren't going to amount to shit. They need to die from that shit. We don't need no cures for that shit. Because the cure is already out here. I told a stupid ass bitch she had cancer. Oh, I'm dying. She's like, oh, I'm dying from cancer. I told this bitch, you should go fast and heal. You might heal your cancer. She looked at me. She called me like, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I was like, bitch, go ahead and die from cancer then. I don't give a fuck. You tried to help your stupid ass. This is why I say don't feel sorry for everyone you see in a negative situation. I'll say, like, anybody you see in a negative situation, they deserve to be in it. The people who don't deserve to be in it are the people who get themselves out of it, which everybody can. But when you see somebody in a negative situation year over year over year, they deserve to be in it. Don't feel sorry for them. Fuck them. When you feel sorry for them, then you're playing into that Masonic programming. This is why I gotta show you shit on the news. I don't give a fuck some nigga got his brains blew out on the street by some police. Why do I care? That's the only time they could sit there and black people could come together is when some nigga got his brains blew out by some fucking cop, and the cop is white. You never see a black cops doing that, or on a white person or another black one, and they make it a big spectacle. They do it all because they want to play on our emotions. First of all, niggas don't even come together for their own people. So why all of a sudden we got to come together when it's a white cop? Because black people, they don't give a fuck about the kid getting hurt. What black people care about is their emotions and their feelings being hurt. When they see a white cop disrespecting a black kid, it hurts their feelings and their ego. Because they're black. It has nothing to do with the black kid getting killed or nothing. Because if that was the case, then they'll be helping other black kids get out the fucking hood, stop the poverty, stop the gang violence. They'll be doing shit like this. They'll be taking all that. They say, oh, black people don't have money. That's bullshit. Black people got a lot of money. You know how many niggas running out? Don't you see these rap videos? Don't you see all these drug traffickers, all these scammers in the hood? Niggas showing stacks of money. Get the fuck out of here. Black people don't got no. Black people got a lot of money. They got enough money to better their situation. Black people just don't want to. They want to spend their money on dumbass shit. So there ain't no problem with black community or anything. And to be honest, I'm not part of no black community, and there is no such thing as no black community. It's called the nigger community. That's what it's called. I remember some stupid ass bitch was all what race do you identify as? Because I was filling out a form somewhere. I forgot, it was like years ago. And she said, what race are you identify as? And I was like, just put other. And she's like, other? It was a black bitch. She's like, other? But then there was a white dude. And he's like, what race do I identify as? And I said, and he's like, African American. I was like, no, I'm not African. I'm black. So I'm other. Sometimes I even put white on there. And then he was like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. But it was a black person. They're like, you're not black. Are you sure? Like trying to question me. Like, bitch, first of all, that has nothing to do with my culture, my nationality, or nothing of that. That's all political, and that's for the government's classification of people. If anything, if I'm gonna choose anything on that list, I'm gonna choose white. Think about it. If I gave you a menu of things to eat, and one said steak, one said hamburger, and one said rat poison, which one are you not gonna choose? You're gonna choose the one that's the least desirable. That in terms of what's gonna hurt you mentally and physically. Being classified as black has more downgrades than being classified as white. Dumb fuck. I put white on my taxes back in the day when I was working at the warehouse back in like 2015, 16. I put white. I paid less taxes than when I put black. And I went to another job, I remember, and I had put black. And there was this coworker I had, he was white. His check will always be more than mine. So, and you can choose white. They can't tell you who you are. It's not illegal. You're not lying because nobody gets it. They even tell you. This is why they have to ask you, what do you identify as? They don't tell you what you are. You have to identify it. Nobody can tell you you're black. Black people have just been programmed. Not even black, but all races have been programmed to put what they think they're supposed to put. No, you put whatever the fuck you want to choose. So if I see a list and I see black and I see white, and in my life experience, this is not hating or nothing. In my life experience, I've seen situations where white people come up on top more than a black person based upon what they identify as. And I've seen black people who don't go through the same shit other niggers go to because of what they identify as. I'm gonna choose something I can identify with more. You see what I'm saying? Makes sense. So it's like you got to know what's going on here, guys. You got to know what's going on. But don't let anybody tell you what you are, what you aren't. Niggas will literally. It's just, it's just funny. There ain't no such thing as family. People are like, well, your mother ain't bring you fucking here. You brought yourself here. And even if your mother didn't bring you here, even if your mother was responsible for you bringing you here, which it isn't, you chose to be here. That's not gonna. You not coming to planet Earth is not gonna impact your spirit in any fucking way. So for you to say, "Oh, your mother came," you wouldn't be here for your mother. No, I came here because I chose to came here. And if I didn't come here, is that gonna make my spirit somehow stop being a spirit? No, it's not. So this earth ain't shit. Don't sit there and be like, "Oh, because family, you don't have no fucking family. There's no such thing as family. Family is just it's part of the material world. It's part of the ego. When you have it's like you have friends in high school or friends in elementary. Are you friends with them now? No, you ain't friends with them. You grew out of touch. But at some point you were friends with them. It's the same with family. Spirit in a certain the realm before we came down into the physical realm, certain spirits you fuck with and you came together as family. But on the totality, your spirit don't fuck with nobody. Your spirit uses other. We gotta obviously connect and have experiences, because some spirit may want to experience what it's like to have a kid, what it's like to be a son, what it's like to be a father. That's an experience. That's not who your spirit is. So don't make family like it's something that's the greatest of the, or some spiritual. No, that has nothing to do with it. And even if you have family that does connect with you, you can have friends that are connected with you. There's people who don't even have, who are orphans, and they have friends and networks that treat them better than some people who have parents. You see what I'm saying? There's people who don't even have a dad or a mom who have a lot more love in this world than people who have parents. So that tells you one thing. It has nothing to do with anything. And even the people who care about that person who's an orphan, they can easily fall out of touch with those people. So it's not even really about having love and shit. It's about just doing you. Don't make your mission about impressing anyone. Fuck people. Ain't nobody shit in this world. Everybody's agents. They're agents because what they do is they take on a certain indoctrination and program from the system, from society, and they uphold it mentally. And when you don't want to act that way, then they want to make fun of you or tarnish you, and they want to act like they're doing it for their own good. Like, for example, you go walk into a building and people will look at you weird. Why are they looking at you weird? It's because they have programming. In their mind, they're probably thinking that you're supposed to look a certain way, act a certain way, and talk a certain way, and you don't do that. Then then they have that justifies for them to have an attitude towards you. It's like, bitch, fuck you, because you where are you coming up with the idea that I need to act a certain way? There's no other way than the system of what you've been programmed with. You're a fucking agent. Even if I was acting and talking a certain way, what the fuck is that gonna bring? Is that gonna bring any type? Is that gonna bring you money? Is that gonna bring you peace? Is that gonna bring you? No, bitch. That's just gonna have you confirm that I'm just like you, a fucking failure and a nobody. I'm fucking regular. I'll be damned before I be a fucking regular like your stupid ass. That's why I have no respect for people in this fucking world. Stupid ass niggas, man. Like today, I went to the mall, right? And I had to leave the mall. I had to leave. I had to leave early because sometimes I just like to walk around and just chill. But I had to leave because the energy was just so negative. It was very thick, and it's like it's even worse because like I guess like it's summer break now. All the kids got released, so there's a lot more people out, and it's like the energy is so negative, and I had to just leave. I couldn't be here because I pick up on a lot of energy. So if I see somebody who's a scumbag, 9.9 times out of 10 they're a scumbag. And I'm before I didn't pick up that energy, and I'm trying to think, like, is it really because people are scumbags, or maybe it's just I'm just projecting certain shit? And it's not that I'm projecting shit. People are scumbags because I'll pick up on the energy, and then I'll see the same person I pick up on the energy, they'll do something very stupid, so like it confirms to me. Like this one time, I told you guys this before. Like one time, I seen this female, and she wasn't. Well, she wasn't fine. She wasn't attractive to me. She wasn't ugly, but she just wasn't like the type of female I like. But she wasn't ugly. But something in me, I was like, this bitch has a very nasty attitude. She asked me for some change or some shit at the 7-Eleven, and I was like, no, I don't have no change. I just didn't want to give her because she just had a negative energy, and I didn't want to give her any of my change. And tell me, like, I'll say like 2-3 weeks later, I see her in front of the same 7-Eleven, like, I guess it was a boyfriend, slapping this dude and hitting him, cussing him the fuck out, like, you bitch ass nigga. And like, I picked up on that shit. I didn't know what it was, but she just had a very, like, she was traumatized, or she probably was raped, or she was dealing with a lot of trauma. I picked up on that. And when she was talking to me, I can kind of tell it was fake. Like, she had a fake niceness. Like, I could tell she had a lot of anger, but she didn't want to express it towards me because it would be like, what did I do to you? But like, if I did the wrong thing or said the wrong thing, she probably would have cussed me out. So I was just like, I just said, oh, I don't have no change, and I don't, people like that, I don't be in their energy. And then a few weeks later, I see her beating up on the boyfriend, she threw a cup of water at him and shit. And I'm like, this stupid ass bitch, like, this bitch is crazy. And this is why, ever since then, I always trust my instincts. If I feel a certain energy, I stay the fuck away from this person. Because people have a lot of people in this world are very toxic. They're very damaged. And you can't trust people in this world. You got to understand, most people have been through some type of trauma, whether they've been physically, sexually abused, or they lost a loved one, they got robbed, they got punked. Maybe somebody hurt them and that person looks like you. So now when they see you, you remind them of somebody. So now they're mean to you for no reason. And you gotta watch out for these type of people. This is why it's good to trust your intuition when you're dealing with people and don't just deal with everyone, because a lot of people are operating on trauma and nobody's actively healing their trauma because this system doesn't promote healing trauma because these corporations, these companies make money off people's trauma. A lot of people spend money on clothes, on food, on drugs, on video games, on these addictions, gambling, lottery tickets, because of their trauma that they're trying to fulfill. So why would a corporation advocate self-healing if self-healing is just going to get people to not only not participate in purchasing shit from their corporation, but it's also it's gonna have people free themselves from not having to be at a bum ass job their whole life. So most people are operating on trauma. So when you're dealing with most people, this is why every bitch you see is fucked up. Damn near. There's probably some of you guys watching my channel, you probably never seen a normal person in your real life. You probably only see somewhat normal people on the internet. And I'm not saying I'm perfect and everything, but at the same time, 98% ain't perfect, but it's still pretty fucking high. So I'm not saying I'm perfect, but 98%, 97%, 99%, that's not perfect, but it's still fucking high. So I'm still fucking high. See what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to say I'm perfect, but I'm more, these motherfuckers out here, they're like fucking 40%. They're not even halfway, they're not even trying. So I can't speak on them. I can't speak on them. So don't let anybody tell you, oh, you're not perfect. You ain't that. No, bitch, nobody said I'm perfect, but I'm better than you, bitch. And since I'm better than you, I can say whatever the fuck I gotta say. Until you get right and get better, then I can say that. Heal your bullshit. Heal your trauma. This is why most bitches are undateable, because most bitches are operating under trauma. Most bitches are all operating under trauma. They don't know, and society society kind of makes women feel like they don't gotta do they don't have to do shadow work. But at the same time, it doesn't matter what society says. Life is gonna teach you otherwise. This is why you see a lot of these bitches go through the situations they go through. Why you think you see a lot of bitches out here, they hate men, they're feminists? Because think about it like this. If men will say, if you want to get a woman, get money, get your situation right. But if that's the case, then why are there such thing as feminists who complain about not having a good guy or they're not being good men? Why don't they just go to the men who have their situation right, who are so-called high value, whatever the fuck that means, and get them? It's because they fucking can't. Because it doesn't fucking work like that. If it was that easy, you wouldn't have so many feminists. Every feminist that bitches about men. It's not that they don't want men. It's just the men that they want don't want them. Because like I said, when you get successful and you get the body, the physique in the situation, that's when you're not supposed to trust people. That's when you don't fucking have respect for people. Especially these bitches, because they only want you because of your success. This is why there's so many men who are womanizers, who just dog these bitches out and just leave them. Because when the nigga didn't have shit, she was nowhere to be found. But when the nigga gets something, then it puts him in a situation where he can control it. So why wouldn't he control it and kind of dog the bitch out and womanize and do it? Why wouldn't he do that? This is why I say it's all like it's all fucked up. This is why the dating thing is all fucked up. Because when you don't have shit, you can't get no bitches. But when you're successful, you still can't get no bitch. You can get bitches, but it's not authentic. So this leaves you in a situation where you have to dog them out, womanize them, and do some nature boy shit and nature boy these bitches. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm at a point like when I run up my millions, I'm gonna just fucking open up an escort or I don't want to say human trafficking, but because I'm not doing nothing that's against anyone's free will, but an escort service. If I'm gonna have bitches, you're gonna be making me some money, and I'm gonna have an escort, and I have plenty of bitches. And if I have some bitches, I let the homies, they can fuck the bitches. I don't give a fuck about this bitch. You can fuck the bitch. I don't give a fuck, and I'll sell that fucking pussy. I wouldn't care because you might as well make some money off the bitch. And it's not even really like that's not even a negative thing. Society will make you think, oh, that's negative. It's wrong that you're doing that. Anybody that says that's wrong, they're a bitch. The one thing I learned about a lot of these men. I've seen a pattern in men. I was watching this. It was a travel vlog channel, and this guy was in India. He went to Pakistan. He went to Africa. And one thing I seen when he was in these countries is the women will always walk behind the man. And this is not abuse or the man doing this is a cultural thing. Like the women actually want to do this. The woman will walk behind the man and the man will guide the family and guide what's going on. One thing about the West is, the last week I did a study on this. I was observing every time I'm in public, I'll say 9 out of 10. I would actually say 10 out of 10, but I'm just gonna say 9 out of 10 because I know it doesn't happen all the time. But 9 out of 10 times when I see a relationship with a dude and a woman, the man will be walking behind the woman and the woman will be directing where they gotta go. Those are the only times I see a man and a woman relationship, and I'm realizing that the only type of men, most of the men that can hold a relationship in the West in 2024 are bitch men whose women wear the pants in a relationship. So these are women who don't know shit and they're masculine as fuck and they feel like they need to control the relationship. And this is done subconsciously. It's not done like the woman's like, oh, you got to do it. It's done on a subtle level that the man doesn't even know he's doing it. Like he'll walk behind the man and the woman will be guiding it. Let's go here, let's go there. But on the East, when I see these other vloggers in like Pakistan, India, Africa, even at some of these Asian countries, the woman will be behind the man and be walking and the man's directing, and it's a different energy. Like I noticed that, and it's like it's so weird how I seen that shit, and I've observed this multiple fucking times. And then you can kind of see the relationship is toxic as fuck. The man has no freedom to do anything, and the man they feel that they don't see anything wrong with it. Because when you see people dating in real life, you got to understand 99% of the time these are bots. These are agents. Anybody who's really spiritual, who's really awake, who really wants to take their power back cannot be in a relationship in 2024. So when you see anybody in a relationship, 99% of the time, this is individuals. They're both bots. They both don't know what the fuck they're doing in life. So this is why it works. So don't get it twisted when you see people out here and they're going out. Those are bots. They're not spiritual people. Because anybody who's really spiritual, who wants to take control of their life, you even see content creators who are in a so-called good situation. You know, a situation where what the system deems as it's good. Like they may have a lot of fiat currency, they may have a lot of material items. They will be in a so-called situation like this, and they will complain that these bitches ain't shit. So if you got niggas in that type of energy, even all these red pill channels that got like 500,000 subscribers, you know they making at least one channel. He got like a lot of subscribers. You know he's making at least 20, 40 grand a month. He's in a so-called situation that's supposed to be good, according to what the system tells you, financially, materially, situation-wise, and he's still complaining about these bitches. So this tells you it's not about what you guys think it's about. It's always gonna be, because you can't do the work for somebody else. If somebody doesn't deserve, if this somebody who doesn't deserve to have what you have, it's gonna play out as them fucking it up, or them finding something wrong with you for them to end up leaving you and leaving something that they had good. It's never gonna play out where everything is happily ever after. You can't cheat the universe. You see how Nature Boy, or not Nature Boy, even Nature Boy, but Young Pharaoh, he was doing his thing, had his Young Pharaoh channel. Then he met that raggedy, fat ass, disgusting ass bitch, nasty ass, fat ass bitch that took his name down. She had nothing going for herself. He fucked with some random bitch, and you see how, because when you're successful and you are, or you're trying to be successful, you can't deal with people who aren't successful, who are lesser than you, because their whole life is going to be built on getting clout off your name. So let's just say you're a millionaire, or you got a lot of clout or whatever. If you get somebody who's a regular ass bitch at Home Depot, at the fucking lumber department at Home Depot, and you date her raggedy, stinking, dirty hands smelling like sand dust and fucking power tools all day. If you date her stupid ass, in her mind, she's not going to be thinking about bettering her life or doing shadow work or reaching a new potential to evolve. She's just going to be thinking about, how can I leverage this relationship to put myself on? And if you do anything to piss her off, she's just gonna go on social media and air all your business out, and it's gonna be on the pretense, well, I'm this famous person's girlfriend and I know his secrets, so if you want me to tell you his secrets, subscribe to me. Now she built clout off your name. This is why you can't fuck with none of these bitches when you're successful. Anybody that says that any bitch that respects you when you got your shit together, she's a slut, she's a skank, she's a bitch. Fuck them and leave them. And if you are gonna deal with them, make it on some business shit and make them like your escort. Run an escort service with them hoes. That's it. Don't take any of these bitches seriously. You can't. And if you're gonna take some bitch seriously, let's just say if you want to take some bitch seriously, go to like fucking the Sierra Leone or South Sudan or fucking some far off land in Philippines and get some bitch who can barely speak English. And don't bring her around no Western culture. Make sure she's a female who hates Western culture. Because just because you get a female in another country who doesn't speak English, if you bring her to America, she's going to have American friends. Because females, they need validation from other females. Men, we don't give a fuck what another nigga thinks. Every female needs validation from other females. So you bring the bitch over here to America, she's going to have American friends, and they're going to start talking to her like an American person. And she's going to be on social media and watching all this shit, and then you might as well just got you an American bitch. She's going to end up turning, because it's a program. It's a poison. It's in the mind. That's why these bitches ain't shit now, because it's a poison that's infiltrated their mind. The Western culture. You got to understand this shit. So, like, all these rappers telling you, oh, if you want a female, you got to get the body up. You got to get them. Now, fuck them niggas. Them niggas don't know what the fuck they talking about. What type of female you want? A female that's just going to take advantage of you and use your name for clout, and when you piss her off, she's just gonna air out all your business, expose everything you did, keep all the receipts, and then come on social media and do what they did to Nature Boy and Young Pharaoh. Nature Boy and Young Pharaoh should have taught you, you can't fuck with these bitches, especially if you're successful. If you're some regular bum ass nigga, you ain't shit, then it doesn't matter, because she has nothing to expose. If anything, she'll probably be embarrassed to even say she was with you. Don't give these bitches your energy. These red pill think they're doing a good. Oh, you be successful, you gotta get the win. No, you don't. When you're successful, you just fuck these bitches and you leave them, and that's it. Have an orgy party with these bitches, and that's it. Have a swingers club meeting, and that's it. Have an escort service, and that's the fuck it. Don't fuck with these bitches like that. They ain't shit. And I'm not saying like shit. If I know there's some females that watch the channel and shit. If I see a female and we cool on a level, like we speaking some shit, and okay, that's a different thing. I'm talking about females. I'm talking about getting into some type of relationship with, fucking, and just some shit like that. Any female that wants to come in a relationship and there's nothing they're bringing to the table, because at this point in time, it's very hard to find a female that's gonna bring anything to the fucking table. Most bitches, they can't bring nothing to the table because they haven't done the shadow work. because they've been conditioned and programmed that they don't need to do shadow work. All the man has to take care of them. It's the man, and a lot of these red pill they promote that shit. Oh, the man is supposed to be winning at life for them to attract the female. That type of shit. See, this is where it hurts the female. It hurts the female because females watch these red pill channels. So when a female is watching a channel and she's hearing a red pill say, "You got to get your shit together to get the women. You got to get your shit together to get the women." A lot of these dank ass, bum ass, trashy ass, nobody ass bitches who aren't nothing, they feel like, I don't gotta do shit. He has to do all the work. Whereas, no, he's not talking about attracting you. He's talking about attracting higher class women that is on his frequency, which is very few of them. Bitch, you still gotta do the work. Otherwise, you ain't gonna attract shit. I'll show you, like, there was two homeless couple walking. The bitch was like probably a 7 or 8. The dude, they're both dirty and scummy. Nobody talks about shit like that. I see that shit a lot. Just because you're a female doesn't mean you see. This is why I say a lot of these niggas. You guys got to get into actual real life and stop being on the internet too much. There's plenty of fine, attractive females I see with a boyfriend. They walking and they homeless. They don't got shit. Plenty of bitches I see single. They don't got shit. They don't look bad, but they don't got shit. Or maybe they got somebody. They're fine. They probably like a 9 or a 10. They working in a fucking baby department at some ugly ass, stinky ass retail store, and that's their whole life for the past 5-6 years. Yet they say, "Well, I look good," and they probably come with a fucking Kim Kardashian makeup and perfume and Versace purse. But for the past 5 years of their life, they just a regular bum ass bitch out of the retail department store. Pretty soon it's gonna be 10 years. Pretty soon they spent their whole youth working at a retail department with the image in their mind that they're some hot shit. But by the time they know it, they're 37, 38, and they ain't that hot no more, and they haven't accomplished shit but at a retail store. That's fucking reality. That's most of these bitches. But then you guys on the internet so much, you don't see that. And a lot of these bitches, like the bitches I just said, the example, they'll be on the fucking internet, and then they feel justified why they don't have to do anything but just sit on their ass, and a man's supposed to do all the work and come to them. And yet you have some of these suck ass niggas that will let these bitches drain them and confirm that they're that's what they should be doing. What it shouldn't. So this is why I say, like, don't. A lot of the men they create these situations too, because a lot of these what they call simps. That's what a simp is. They cater to this stupid shit. Because a lot of these niggas, like, it's not even about they're thirsty or they want to. That's not what it is. A lot of these niggas, they just want love. They probably didn't get no love from their mother, or they have mommy issues or some other shit. So they want love. It's not just about sex. It's about they want love. Because I know it's a lot of these niggas who will complain about, oh, I can't get no woman, or I want to have, I don't have sex, or I haven't had sex. It's not just about sex. They want a woman to fuck and cuddle with. They want somebody to just be there and say that they love you. A lot of these men, that's what they actually want. And it confused me for the long time because me, like, I've never gave a fuck about that shit. I've never gave a fuck. I have a Aquarius stellium in the 6th house, Venus in the 6th house, and an Aquarius. So my whole love structure, whether it be love or the things I value, is not normal. Because Venus is not like to be in the 6th house, and when it's in Aquarius, it's kind of weird. So I've never really fell in love and can understand that. A lot of other people, like, they'll complain about, oh, how they don't have sex. And I'm like, why don't you just go get an escort? Why don't you just go fuck this bitch? But then they don't go and fuck it because they want it to be the right one. And I'm not hating on them because that's just in their natal chart. Maybe that's what it is. But at least fucking say that. Don't sit there and play it off like that's not what it is. Like, you just can't get no pussy. No, you can get pussy. You just want a certain type of pussy because you care about these bitches and you want a bitch to love you and all that. That's what it is. They'll say, oh, I can't get no pussy. No, it ain't like you. Most men, it's not that they can't get no pussy. Just they want to get a certain type of pussy that's going to say I love you and be with them a certain way. And they need it to be all romantic and it has to be catered to this way. And like, that's when you could tell you got some type of love issues. You want somebody to love you or whatever. Like, you all fucked up. Something's wrong with you. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with, like, having a relation, but at the same time, nigga, if you weren't fucked up, you would have been done, already got that somehow, some way. Shit's crazy. But a lot of these red pill men, nigga, they really like they actually fucking it up. They're actually making it worse, to be honest. Like, cause they'll sit there and think they're doing a service, but say, oh, men are waking up and stuff. But then at the same time, they're promoting shit like you got to get your shit together to get this woman and all that. And it's like, even when you do get your shit together, what are you gonna do with the bitch? Take care of her? Be another fucking daddy to the female? I don't even want no kids. Why the fuck would I want a grown ass bitch as a kid? Makes no sense. That's why I said, like, the Masons, they did some type of witchcraft where they succeeded on the division of men and women. That's just a wrap because ain't nobody having kids nowadays. Nobody's having kids. So in the next 20, 30 years, there's not going to be that many children in the future. In the next 30, 40 years, there's going to be an overpopulation of old people. So all of us right now, in 30, 40 years, we're going to be seniors. Near senior or a senior. Ain't nobody having kids. So you're gonna have a population where there's gonna be so many old people. There's gonna be very, very little young people. So like nobody's actually the human race is gonna be kind of different. They're gonna probably create some test tube lab babies and shit. I already said that because nobody's having kids. Because no, it's not. It's the feminists. It's the anti-natalists. It's a lot of the especially a lot of Gen Z are fertile. They don't talk about that. A lot of Gen Z. Why do you think back in the day you had 16 and pregnant, and you seen kids in high school get pregnant? You don't see that nowadays. And it's not just because kids don't want to have kids nowadays. That's part of it. That's a big reason. But I'm thinking another one is because they're fertile. Because remember the thing, and then each year you have to get shots each year, and not just the one number less than 20, the 18. You guys don't know. It's not just that one. But you got other ones you have to take to get into this grade. In order to get into this school, you got to take this, and they have hepatitis and all these other flu. The chemicals that they're putting in it now is not the same as when you guys got it when you were younger. They're always updating the chemicals in those little things. They're updating it. So when you got the hepatitis or some whatever thing that you got when you were in school, let's say back in 2003 or 2001 or in the 1999, that chemical that they put in you is a different chemical than what they're putting in the people at your age when you got that nowadays. They still call it the hepatitis thing or the measles or chicken pox, or they still call it the same thing, but the chemicals in it are different. So the chemicals they're putting in it is causing different problems. This is part of the reason why the Gen Z looks older. They may be even fertile. I'm thinking that a lot of them probably it's harder. They might even be fertile. Like they can't even have kids like that because why aren't like you don't see that many, and it's a whole bunch of other shit. They're doing something. So all that ain't nobody having no kids in the future. There's gonna be there's still gonna be kids, but it's gonna be less. It's not gonna be it's not as much as it was before, and then pretty soon it probably won't even be any because they'll just make some type of lab children where you make kids in a lab. They already said pretty soon you're gonna be able to choose if you want a boy or a girl, if you want blue eyes, red. That's not fucking normal. That's not a kid. Once they start doing that shit, you ain't having kids no more. That's something else. That's not no kid. The essence and the life of that is not gonna be the same. That's not no child. Just like when they say you have incest, it creates inbreds. That's what that test tube baby shit is. It's a laboratory inbred. You're fucking a laboratory. It's just like when you fuck your own family, it creates inbred children. When you fuck in the laboratory and they injecting shit in the pussy and doing shit to the sperm to inject to the pussy, you fuck in the lab. So it could create inbred lab children. So you're not supposed to fuck anything but another human to have a kid. So it's gonna cause some type of problem. So yeah, you can change a baby to be a boy or a girl, or blue eyes, and have fucking so-called good hair, whatever the fuck that is. But it's gonna cause problems and deficiencies that's not normal. And I won't even be surprised they start putting chips in the baby's brain once they even do that. They already tell you niggas how the fuck they want the world to be. They showed in the movies and in the video games. They show you like everything. Like they already have it all made. Like when you see all those video games, we see all those movies, they tell you everything that's gonna fucking happen. It's like it's already made. Go play Call of Duty Advanced Warfare back in 2014. Go watch it on YouTube. It's Advanced Warfare. That game takes place, I think, in 2040 or 21. It takes place in the future. It's called Advanced Warfare because it's advanced technology. Every weapon that they have in that game, they have in real life. They had a gun that 3D prints bullets. It was an infinite gun. They have shit like that. It's not that they don't, because when you actually play the game and you see how the, like, if you were to play Modern Warfare, they have an M16 carbine, and if you shot one of those in real life, you can see how the gun in the game replicates the gun in real life. Like it's a blueprint because it's real. But when you play Advanced Warfare, it's the same shit. It's just they haven't showed you the gun in real life. So they had a gun that like it curves, it shoots around the corner, and then you're able to aim it, and it curves. The bullet curves. And then people say, "Oh, that's far fetched." It's not far fetched, bitch. Because back in 1973, if I told you an iPhone 15 that has a 13 or 14 megapixel camera that can zoom in at 232 frames per second or all this other shit, it has a fucking a chip in it that's super quick and all this 4K, 8K, you would say that's impossible. But we have it now. So when you see all this other shit, it's not impossible. They just didn't bring it out there yet. That's why every single year, like they even tell you every year when they release a new iPhone, that it's always a little bit stronger than the last year. Like they released the iPhone 15. It has like an M3 chip or M2 chip, and they say it's 50% faster, 60% GPU processing power than previous gen. But it's like, why couldn't you do that last year? Why did it take this year? It's because they already have the technology out. They just didn't want to put it out because they have to do it in increments. They don't want to release everything too quick. So don't you think they have the M16 or the M16 chip and all this other shit that they can put in a phone? The reasons why they don't do that, because it's many reasons, but one of it'll be too expensive. If they make a fucking 16K fucking screen resolution with a fucking 80,000% processing power compared to previous, and the phone is so quick, the phone will be like 10,000, 12,000 bucks. Ain't nobody gonna pay for that shit. They'll have to charge that much money. So just like the phone that I'm using right now, if it was released 10 years ago, this phone would have probably been like 7,000, because the phone back in 2012, the iPhone 11 or whatever, that phone was like 800 bucks, and that phone's a piece of shit now. So imagine if this phone was released back in 2011, this phone would probably been like 8,000 bucks. So a lot of the reasons why they don't have a lot of this shit, because it'll be too much money. So they gotta like wait. And that's one of the reasons. And then the other reasons they don't want to bring it out and shit. But they don't get it twisted. They got this shit already lined up. There's really no such thing as the future. When you see Star Wars and you see all this fucking like these video games that they have, like Cyberpunk. Look at the game Cyberpunk. This is, if you look at the game Cyberpunk, go on YouTube, type in Cyberpunk 2077. That's not the future. That's what the Masons want the future to look like. So if people don't wake up and their shit goes as they want, this is what they want it to look like. Everybody has tech in them and it's normal. The dude had a fucking like a arm or a metal arm or some shit. He had like a fucking like half of his face was metal, and it was normal. Like It wasn't like a big deal or nothing. Because a lot of right now we're like, oh, the newer chip, I'm never getting a chip in my brain. But if you say that now, but if people don't wake up and we have the younger generation programmed and we got dumbass parents that aren't teaching their kids right, it's going to get normalized where you're going to be in a world like Cyberpunk where people have mechanical arms and chips in their brain, and it's going to be normal. It's going to be like the normal thing. Just like right now, everybody's holding a phone and shit, and then they got to have the Neuralink, and the interface is going to be in your fucking mind. So instead of pulling up your phone to make a phone call, you just make it through your brain, and you're always seeing your whole life is seeing an interface, like a HUD screen, like a user interface and shit. You're seeing that your whole fucking life. Like, who the fuck wants to live like that? But if people like over time, people like, because if you go, let me give you an example. When they released the Xbox One back in, I would say 2013, Microsoft said that they were going to make a digital only Xbox One. And I remember everybody was like, no, fuck digital. Keep it physical. Keep it physical. We need physical discs. We don't need it digital because I can't keep my games, and I like to rent my games from Blockbuster because Blockbuster was open at the time. They closed around 2012, 2013. Like, I can't rent games. I like to borrow games from my friend. Then they double backed on it, and then they didn't release it. Now, fast forward right now, everything's digital. People will actually prefer digital over physical. People's like, even some of you guys right now, you don't want to have, you rather just, if you have money on your car, you just want to buy the shit right now. You don't want to go to the store and do all that fucking shit. You see what, you want to just purchase it and play it. You don't have to go get a disc. See how convenient they made it? It took time. So if people aren't careful, the same shit can happen with this Neuralink and all these things. Even all this transgender faggot shit. A lot of these kids being brought up. I remember back in it, like, it's just weird. Like, even with this whole transgender shit, like, a lot of you guys say, oh, this shit is weird and it will never be accepted. But a lot of the kids growing up, like a lot of the, I think they call it Gen Alpha, a lot of the kids are like 10 years old, 5, 6 years old. When they get up to be like fucking 18, 19, 20, with all this programming they have in the media, people being shamed for making fun of people who look a certain way, I wouldn't be surprised if the average 20-year-old in the next 30 years thinks it's normal for you to be transgender. They're like, well, it's his choice. If he wants to be a female, let him be a female. And at that point, robots would be here. Like, if this person wants to claim as, if that robot wants to identify as human, let him identify, because that's what they're gonna do next. They're gonna probably have AI try to identify as human. Then I wouldn't be surprised if they have an AI government. And at that point, it's done, because now it's like there ain't nobody you can talk to. You can't reason with. They might just get rid of all the politicians one day and be like, all the politicians are the first AI president. But that's probably going to be down the line, because they can't do that shit right now. But if they do that shit, man, it's going to be a wrap. That's why I said this world's crazy, man. Like, but if you look at Clayton Clark, she's getting all the attention and making WB great. That's kind of funny how you said that shit. I was just at my aunt's house the other day, and that was the first time I watched WNBA, and she was talking about Caitlin Clark, and she was hating on her. She's like, fuck that stupid ass white bitch. And it's funny how you said that, because I don't watch WNBA, but I went to my aunt's house the other day and she was watching it. And she was, I guess the bitch was playing and she was talking about it. So it's kind of interesting you brought that up. It's weird how the synchronicity. Yeah, but well, you guys gotta understand that none of this shit the government does is cool. All this technology shit is trash. You guys think that shit is cool because it you've been programmed through the education system, through you growing up and you watching Star Wars, watching their movies. Even when they make a fucking Marvel movie, they'll have fucking Captain America going underground to the Avengers fucking base and it's underground. When they show that, that's a real shit. Where you think the shadow government stay? They stay at an undisclosed location, probably someplace. They probably got multiple places to go underground, and it's an underground city. Like you could take. They probably have transportation from the U.S. all the way to China underground. There's cities that are like as big as New York that are actually things going on. People live down there. They that's where they live. And then there's certain undisclosed bases that when you look at it from the top, it looks like a regular safari jungle or a desert. But then somebody probably has to put in a code, or you have to probably contact somebody on a certain telecommunication server who's underground, and they give you they'll be like, okay, let this person in, and they enter a code, and then the ground comes up. They show you that in the Marvel movies when they have the underground Avengers base or all these bases in all these video games. You got to go underground. It's the same shit. That's where they get it from. It's all stupid, dumbass shit. That it's like when you see an anthill or when you see a beehive. Bees, they create shit. So what the fuck you think human beings doing? It's the same shit. It ain't like fuck. Like who gives a fuck what they're doing? Like it's not cool. None of that shit is cool. They just make you think it's cool through movies and programming. And they like, oh, like if I went to a bunch of kindergartners who were trying to learn, let's say I went to a bunch of second graders and they were trying to do addition, and then he was having a hard time doing addition, and then I showed him an algebra or calculus, and I started doing calculus and algebra. He's gonna be like, "Oh, you're smart, you're intelligent," but in all totality, he's like, "Not really. Like, who the fuck gives a fuck about algebra or calculus? That don't mean shit. That don't mean you're smart and intelligent. That's just some shit created. That's just there's some shit that was created that people use as a tool to do what the fuck they got to do in the reality. Doesn't mean you're intelligent. You can still know how to do algebra, but still be. Look at these Masons and shit. They created this shit and they do it, but look at them. They still dumb as fuck. They can't even run shit. They can't do anything. This is why they have to copy people off YouTube. And they can't. They have no creative ability. It don't mean shit. They have no spirit. They don't have no soul really. Like they have a very low, dirty spirit. That don't mean shit. Just because you could build some shit, that don't mean who gives a fuck about that crap. None of that shit's cool. They just have to sell you it like it's cool. It's some high tech shit. Just like you have a cell phone nowadays. Everybody has a smartphone. Do you look at your smartphone and be like, oh my god, it's cool, like it's business as usual, use a smartphone? If somebody gave you a government phone, a free shitty Obama phone, you would say, get this piece of shit out of here. You don't respect it. But if somebody gave you that same Obama phone in the 60s and you were the only one who had it, you'll be like, oh my goodness, this is, you see what I'm saying? So it's the same with this other tech. Remember when they first released the touchscreen phone back in like 2008? I remember I think it was 2008. I had a touchscreen phone. I was like the only one in my school who had that shit. Because my parents, they had bought me a touchscreen phone. Everybody had, it was like around 2008, 2007. I forgot what phone it was. It was a fuck. I forgot the name of the brand, but it was a touchscreen phone. I remember everybody in the class was like, oh shit, it touches. I kid you not. Everybody in the whole class came like, his phone is all touch, everyone. Everyone's all, let me use your phone. Let me call. They wanted to touch it. Like, oh, how does it touch it? Like, oh, it feels cool. You could tap it in. I kid you not. Look at it now. Everybody has a touch phone. It's like, what the fuck is this shit? I will never forget that. Everyone, and it baffles me because today I'm like, everyone has a touch phone and it's like, no one gives a fuck about it. But back then it was like, everybody in the whole class was like, I was like one of the only few people that had a touch phone. Everyone wanted to touch the phone because that was back when the phones, you had to touch them with the dial and shit. And it wasn't really like all touch. They had the Sidekick, which was kind of touch. Wait, yeah, they had one that was kind of touch, but the one they had back then, it wasn't touch. It was just you use the thing. But I remember I had to all touch, and everybody was like, "Let me touch the screen. Let me make a phone call." Everyone was all fucking gawking over that shit. Now I'm looking at it now, and it was a shitty touchscreen phone back then. Now everyone has a touchscreen. It's like it's nothing now. It just tells you the technology is all bullshit. It's nothing. It's nothing really like the way you think it is. People try to make it look like it's some type of innovative. Oh, it's the future. No, it's not the future. That has nothing to do with the future. The future is right now. If you want to get technical, because what we're doing right now, there was a time where you could have been like June 2nd, 2024. That's the future. But to be honest, it's really not because we're in the present. But we're in the future if you really look at it. But it is what it is, guys. Damn. I wish I could flip this camera around, man. I hate how you can't do that on StreamYard. Wait, hold on. Let me. Yeah, you can't do it on StreamYard. I don't know why you can't. I saw these two people out here. I'm going to show you, but whatever. I'm going to drop the link if anybody wants to join. I should have dropped the link a lot earlier, but I'm about to get off in a minute, but I just want to drop the link if anybody wants to join. But like it is what it is, guys. Just don't take this shit too serious. If you're gonna take anything in life serious, take yourself serious. Don't take nothing what these motherfuckers say. Anything that you see on the news is fake. What you guys gotta understand, anything that the government has control, and when I say this, like, listen to me very carefully when I say this. Anything that the government has control over, they're gonna put on the news. Anything the government does not have control over, you will not hear nothing about it. When you hear about the Donald Trump case and you hear about what's happening in Syria and the war and the gas, they have control over that shit. That's not no news. What they don't have control over, they're not going to put on the news. What they won't put on the news is how you have a lot of these influencers speaking a lot of speaking shit that's getting their attention away from the news. They'll never put that on the news. They'll never put on the news how we have influencers, and it doesn't matter if you're spiritual or not. Just we have influencers and people on social media that are attracting more of an audience than we will actually like. So now we have to control the algorithm. Now we have to make drastic stories such as Donald Trump getting fucking 34 felonies and Donald Trump doing a fucking campaign rally with a drug trafficker and a gang member who murdered somebody. We got to do crazy shit like that to get people's attention. We got to do a Diddy case to get. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about the cases and the shit, but they don't talk about why they're doing all this shit. Because they're doing it because they need. It's like a spiritual war right now. They're trying to. Because if they're not careful, a lot of people are gonna stop fucking with their programs. So this is why they're going hard at the algorithm. They're trying to get shit where they're trying to censor people because they don't want because it's kind of switching up. If you watch all these news like CNN, Fox, and you watch their YouTube channels, the amount of views that they get on a daily basis, most influencers get more than that. So this is why they're kind of scared in a way, like for you speaking out this is why when you start speaking truth, they want to demonetize you. They want to play with your numbers. They want to shadow ban you because imagine if you were working for CNN and you started speaking your own truth. They're going to fire you. But since we don't work for CNN, we're doing our own shit. They can't fire us. So the next thing they can do is demonetize, play with your views, send bot agents and trolls depending on how big you are. They got to fuck with you on those levels because it's another way for them to get at you without in a way that's like not so blatant, because everything that they're showing on the news they have control over. Always remember that there's nothing Not one thing. 100% of the fucking time. What you see on that news, they created that event, and they're creating that narrative. Just like when you watch a Hollywood movie. Is there any Hollywood movie that's real? No, all of it is made at a studio. There's no Hollywood movie that you say is real, or it could be real, or no, it's made in a studio. It's acting. Same with CNN. They make it in a studio. They make it it's acting. When you see politics come on stage, and every time a politic comes on comes and talks on a podium, or they show a news footage of the Senate, that's all acting. It's bullshit. You guys got to understand that the people who are in the office of the politician in the Senate, they may not think, because there's levels to this. The Senate, the politician, Biden, the governor, they may think they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, because there's levels to it. They only get a certain level of clearance and intel. They don't get the whole story. Nobody in the political seat gets the whole story. Probably like one or two, a few, and those ones, they actually are working hand in hand with the people who actually run shit. So you have the people who live underground and they run shit from their facilities, and then you have probably a few people who are like the middleman. They work with the people underground, and they work with the people in the politics and in the police and all that. And then you have the police and the politics who just solely work up there, and they know nothing of the underground. There's like different levels to this shit. So maybe a few politicians, or one or two, and even if it is a politician that works with them, you probably won't see them on TV. They don't need to be on TV, because they can make shit move. Like anybody you're seeing on TV, like Trump, the governor, these senates, they're not working with they don't know shit about what's going on fully. They're just doing what they're supposed to do. And if they don't do what they're supposed to be doing, they're gonna end up in a situation like P. Diddy, might be killed, something might happen to their family. It's gonna be something that's gonna happen. Their money might start fucking up. They might all of a sudden have a lot of litigations and lawsuits or sex scandals. They're going to be dealt with, because they're going against the program, and they're not going to know where it's coming from. They're just going to be like, I'm being gang stalked, or the government's attacking me. But it's really like them controlling this shit like chess. They'll create situations and send agents, and they don't even really have to tell people. Like, they don't even really have to tell people. It's to a point right now where they don't even have to go out and tell people, oh, fuck with this guy. They could just create a situation where the dude who they're trying to fuck with just takes the bait. They put a certain thing there, and then he takes the bait, and then he fucks himself over or some shit. Or like, let's just say, like, fucking the mayor got caught smoking crack. I seen a video of a mayor got caught smoking crack. He already has a desire. He likes smoking crack. So if they want to take him down, they don't gotta send agents to him. They just gotta expose him. Everybody got a sex addiction, or in politics, or they fuck with kids, or they do drugs, or they beat their wife. They do something that's nobody likes, especially the pedophilia shit. That's why a lot of these politicians, they keep their fucking mouth shut, and they shut the fuck up, because they know if they run their fucking mouth, they got to go to jail for fucking with little ass kids in the asshole, and they don't want to get caught up with that shit. So it's better to keep their mouth shut, because if you've been in the political seat for 20 years, fucking all these kids, and buying children through the human trafficking networks that they have, that the politicians have access to. If you run your fucking mouth too much, they're just gonna expose you, and you're gonna be a P. Diddy, and they're gonna send your ass to jail. So that's why a lot of them are scared to speak, because they already know that they already have their hand in the cookie jar, and they already did a lot of dirt. So if they open their mouth and start speaking truth, they've already done so much. It's like, you might as well just shut up unless you want your life destroyed. It's like they're so knee deep in it, they really can't get out unless they go through some bullshit. Now I don't feel sorry for them, because they spent that money, they took all that shit, and they did all the shit they did. So it's like, they got themselves so far that it's kind of too late. Unless, like, and even if they did the wake up, why would they even risk speaking truth just to have people just laugh at them and not even take them serious at the expense of what they have going on and being exposed. Because it's not like people are gonna wake up. It's not like if fucking the president came out and say, "Oh, this, and that." People will still say it's fake. It's to a point. I believe it. If the Pope came out and said the Bible's fake, people will be like, "Oh, that Pope is he's being infiltrated." The Pope that died before him wouldn't have said that. I don't believe this Pope. The Bible's still real. That's how fucking lost people are. The fucking Pope can literally come out and say the Bible is fake. Just like with the whole pandemic shit. They said the pandemic shit, it can kill people and this and that, and it's not safe to go outdoors. Everybody went inside and everyone was so-called safe because we weren't outdoors. Now they said it's over, or they pretty much said it was okay, and everybody's out partying and doing all the things they say we couldn't do. But yet you still have people wearing masks, even though the fucking government pretty much said that it's okay for people to stand close to 6 feet apart. You don't have to stand 6 feet apart. We could go to parties. All the shit they had shut down is open. So obviously it's not a threat. The government's telling you it's not a threat anymore. But why do you got people still following these dumbass rules? So the, at this point, whatever the government says, the moment they say it and they put the programming in it, even if they double back, there's going to be people who still believe it because that's how lost people are. Because people they'll try to make it into their own religion. Just like they say, "Oh, I don't believe in the Bible, but I still believe in Jesus and God, and I believe in all this other shit, but I don't believe in the Bible. I don't believe having to go to church every Sunday." Then you're practicing your own religion, dumbass. Your Bible says you need to go to church every Sunday and praise the Lord. I don't fucking know how exactly they said it, but part of the rules of the church is going to church. Part of the rules of the religion is going to church, practicing the faiths. You see what I'm saying? You're not practicing your faiths or your works or whatever. You're not practicing it. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing if you're not going to church. If you're cussing, the Ten Commandments say don't steal, but at the same time, people are okay with the IRS stealing your money. They just take money from your account, depending on how much they say. People go out and do a whole bunch of other shit. Corporations steal a whole bunch of shit. Banks steal from people's fucking bank accounts. People still support the banks and shit. They say don't cheat on your wife. People cheat on their fucking wife. They get a divorce. And they pray God that they hope that, and they go to church the next day after they have a divorce. And the reason they had a divorce because they were cheated on. People don't fucking follow that shit. But people say, well, I have a personal relationship with God. I have a personal. Shut the fuck up, nigga. You don't have a personal relationship with shit. They just say that because people don't want to do the discipline because it's too hard. It's too much discipline. So they want to rationalize why it's okay. So at this point, people are just making up their own religion. Shit is ridiculous. That's all like. That's how bad the programming is. The only solution at this point is just people just die off. It's too late. Like people just gotta die off. Like that's literally what it is. Like people are gonna just have to die off. It's too late. There's no other way around it. So, and that's what I see is good. That's what I kind of see it happening. Like I literally feel like I told you. I feel like they're trying to kill off the people right now. Something in me's telling me they're doing depopulation. They're going to be doing it through war, social, economic, and the health industry and food. So socially, economically, war. Because when Saturn goes into Aries, I'm not don't mark me at words on this, but when Saturn and Neptune go into Aries, they may start another war. They may like a war where the U.S. is going to be going into another country, like Afghanistan. They're going to be doing another one, probably when Saturn and Neptune go into Aries. They're going to do a war. It's going to be a war, and that's another depopulation. And they're going to do economics and food and health. Health and food is probably going to be the biggest ones because that's what everybody's really participating in. That's why you guys got to be careful what you guys are eating because it's not Like, the food's just gonna get worse. And when they bring out 3D printed food, that's when it's gonna really be taken up a notch. You're gonna have to really be careful what you're eating. I'm not saying you won't be able to eat 3D printed food. Um, Probably I wouldn't even want to eat this shit because 3D printed food is the ultimate GMO. That's more GMO because you gotta understand 3D printed food is not gonna be the same as food made in a factory. Because 3D printed food is gonna be, you're not gonna need a big factory to make it. You're gonna be able to make it in your kitchen. You're gonna be able to make it in the so you're gonna be able to feed millions of people with just cheap ingredients. And they're gonna have certain technologies that's gonna make the food taste, because when they have the 3D printed food, some of the food might actually taste like the real thing or near it. And when you put that in a situation, because the price of food is gonna get so expensive that they're gonna have to have solutions. Like, they're creating a problem and a solution. The problem is food is expensive. Nobody can afford it. The quality of food's going down. You see the McDonald's price, the fast food. Eventually, what's gonna happen is you're not gonna see certain food anymore. You may go to the store, you may not see Snickers bars no more. You may not see that down the line, or chocolate bars, or certain sweets, or you may not see it so readily, or you may have to buy it online, or it's expensive, or you may not see it at all, or it's gonna be a cheaper version or some shit. Like, you're gonna see it, and as this goes on, then they're gonna have a solution because they created the problem. They're gonna have a solution. The solution is gonna be 3D printed food, and then when they bring that shit out, that's when it's gonna be a whole different ball game. And then it's either you're gonna eat that or you're gonna fucking starve. Or if you're rich and you have money, then you probably be able to eat some of the old shit, because that's gonna be like a delicacy. Because the best to believe, these billionaires and millionaires, they're not gonna be eating that shit. Just like, does a millionaire eat Dollar Tree food? No, they don't shop at Dollar Tree. They shop at Whole Foods, or they probably have their own suppliers that make their own shit when it comes to produce and shit. And they eat at 5-star restaurant. They have 5-star restaurant. None of you niggas ate at 5-star, but you guys ate at Applebee's. It's the same thing. When they bring the 3D printer food, the rich people ain't gonna eat that shit. They're gonna still eat what the fuck they want to eat. It's just gonna be you niggas who don't have money who are gonna be forced to eat that shit, and they're gonna market it like it's good and it's a new thing. Because it's gonna take less. You won't even need a factory to even make the fucking 3D printer food. You can make that shit anywhere, because you just need the printer, and then you need the ingredients that you put in it. Depending on what you want to make to eat, you put it in there, and it makes the food for you. And then they add technology into it where when you fry it, when you put it on a fry pan, it sizzles. Or if you're making a certain food, it has a certain texture, because it's gonna be technology. Because with just like they gotta have 5G, 4G, and all these techs and Gs, they're gonna also have 3D printing. They're also gonna have 3D printed. You'll be able to, like, print food from the internet. So it'll be like a chef makes a recipe. You put the ingredients in the fucking 3D printer, and it downloads the ingredients and it makes it for you, so you can make food from the internet. But that's just gonna be crazy, because what's gonna happen is hackers can hack that shit, and then they can make some fucking nasty ass shit, or poison your food or something. Or just they did do a lot of shit with it. Like, it's gonna be, because anything that's technology is hackable. So that shit could be hacked too. And when we talk about hacking and all that, hacking, anything that's hackable, the government allows it to be. Don't think that when you're a hacker, you're somehow beating the government. Always remember, the government created the computer. It created the technology. So it has the back door. When they said Bitcoin can't be identified, it can be identified. If they want, like, if I made a Bitcoin transaction, they can find out it was me who did it. But the government wants you to believe that they can't do that. So this is why you'll see a case like a drug trafficker who dealt drugs online with Bitcoin, and he gets away with it. It's not that the government can't find him. The government just wants to make it look like if the government found him, they're gonna be like, oh, how did you track him? He was using Bitcoin. They have to make it believable, like, oh, he's the reason he's using Bitcoin. The reason we found him, it wasn't because of Bitcoin, but in reality, it was a Bitcoin. They have to make you think that hackers have the power. This is why they have Anonymous, to make you think that Anonymous is some rogue hacker. You can't be no rogue hacker, nigga. It's just like, let me give you an example. If you're in my house and I have cameras in every room and every crevice of my house, there's nowhere in I have over 10,000 cameras in my house. Every sector of my house, I have screened from the closet to the bathroom to the toilet to the 10,000 cameras in my house. You can't be in my house with my cameras working and I have my phone and I'm looking at you and say, I'm about to hide under the blankets and he won't see me, or I'm going to hide in the closet. No, my cameras can see you. You thinking I don't have cameras, you think you're hidden. This is a hacker. They think they're hidden. They think they're in control. But in reality, the government can have a back door. This is why you have all these websites on the dark web. They'll have a bunch of scammers who are scamming people, and the FBI will literally shut down their website and make a page, an FBI page, stating that this website has been closed. Anybody who visits this website is liable. Like, when they shut down these websites on the dark web, the FBI will put like a warning saying this website has been shut down. You cannot use it. How did they do that? If the person who runs the dark web was so into hacking and knew what the fuck he was doing, how was the FBI able to do this? Because they have the back door. They have the keys to it. You see what I'm saying? So ain't no such thing as no rogue hacker. They just make you to think that. I remember back in fucking, some dude made me hack. I remember this is when I was like, what was this, around 2010? I was like 18, 19. I was on the internet looking for credit cards so because I was trying to buy a fucking Xbox or whatever. And I was on the website looking for credit cards. And I met this one dude. He's like, oh, I gave you a credit card. He scammed me, but I'm gonna tell you guys how he scammed me. He's like, I give you a credit card, but you gotta do this hack for me. And he sent me, I don't know what exactly, because this was back in 2010. I was very vague. I remember I was on the internet and he's like, go into this link. He sent me like a link or somewhere to go, and it was like an interface, and it had a whole bunch of code, like computer code, and he was like, type in this computer code and delete this and put this in. He pretty much, what he had me do was hack a website for him, and he had me do it so he doesn't get in trouble. And he's like, oh, if you do this, I'll give you your card. And then I hacked some website, and I didn't know at the time. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just was like, oh, I'm just putting in numbers, because it was a mainframe and it was a bunch of code. And he's like, enter this code and copy and paste this. And I entered all this code, and he's like, congratulations, you just hacked this website for me. Thank you. And I was responding like, where's the thing? And he never responded back to me and shit. I don't know what the fuck it was, but after I was like fucking hella young, like 17, 18. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. I was like, whatever. And I just didn't think anything of it. Then, like, probably a couple years ago, something hit me. I was like, this motherfucker had me hack some shit for him. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know what I did. All I remember, I was in like a mainframe, and it was like a little, like, it was like a bunch of computer code. And he sent me like a bunch of numbers and letters, and he's like, delete this out of the code and enter this into this and delete this and type this. And I was just listening to him. This motherfucker had me hack some shit. And then, like, I never got the cards, but this shit was fucking hilarious. Like, when I look back at it, because at that time I didn't think anything of it. I just went on. I was like, whatever. I didn't lose no money out of it, but I think he had me hack some shit. Because when you hack stuff, you gotta go into like the database, and there's a whole bunch of codes, and each code controls how the system operates. So this is why they'll create a code, or they know about what codes to put in the fucking thing to hack it. But only certain websites, you can't do this with every website, because certain websites, they have a lot of security. So in order to breach it, you need a strong fucking computer. You need a strong, so even if you know how to hack, some shit you can't do, because it's just like trying to break somebody out of prison, but there's a 20 layer brick wall. If it was a wooden wall, it'll be easy to break it. Just break the wood. But if it's 20 layers of brick, it's hard. You can't do it. You need some type of strong machine. That's like hacking. It's like certain things you can't hack because it has such a strong brick wall. Like a security, it's called a firewall. Like the way they set up the security, even if you have to have a strong computer, or it's impossible to hack it without certain shit. So you can't go through it. That's how it was. But what he had me hack was something that was very light security. It wasn't. It was like a somebody's website, like the little man-made website they made, and he wanted to hack. That's why it was easy. But if it was like a bank, hacking into a bank or like a government server, it's gonna have a lot of brick walls. So you can't. It's not that you can't hack it. It's just the machines and the technology that they release to the consumer and the regular person, you're not gonna be able to hack it. You'll probably need like fucking the equivalent of 20,000 high end $5,000 gaming PCs of that computing power just to be able to break it or some shit. Or like and you gotta know what the fuck you're doing, like because it's so strong. You need like a bunch of people doing it. Like even some hacks, like when they breach, like sometimes when they'll breach like a website, they'll have like 30, 40 people or hundreds of hackers start attacking one thing so it can break the wall, so they can penetrate it, because there's a lot more people doing it. Because sometimes you need a lot of hackers attacking one server to really hack it. It's not, sometimes you can't just do it with one person. You need a lot of, it's complicated and shit the way they have it. But a lot of those breaches, when you see credit card breaches, those are by the government. That's not by no regular people. They by the government. They allow people to hack. Always remember, everything that's a crime, the government allows. Like when you see these scammers out here, oh, I'm scamming the bank. Bitch, they letting you fucking scam. They don't care. Because money is, like I said, they print money. It's fake. It's not real. And plus right now, the money is getting so, they're changing the money. So this is why they don't care about people scamming. This is why you have people skimming people's credit cards. The government can shut that down if they want, but they don't want to shut it down because the government be scamming and skimming and stealing people's money too. Like when they be stealing, like when you have scammers go into your bank account and take money, sometimes that's a scammer. Sometimes that's the government. Like when you see a news article and it says a lady lost $30,000 out of her bank account that's the government that did it. Anytime when you see that, the government did it, and then they have to make a news article to make you think that it wasn't them. So they can tell you what they did to kind of wash their hands karmically, to say protect yourself and don't put your money in the bank, and to kind of watch, but they still do it. It's like they have to tell you. So don't, like, all that scamming shit. They always remember, crime is an industry. Crime is a multi-billion-dollar industry. They make money off crime, from locking people up. Police get funding from crime. If there was no crime, the police wouldn't get funding. It's a crime. They just can't have too much crime, and they can't have too little. Sometimes they may need to clean the crime. This is why every now and then, they're like, remember I told you guys it was good back in like 2020, 2021? That was the best time to go into the stores and steal shit. We're coming to a time where they're kind of cleaning that up. They're going to be cleaning up the crime a little when it comes to certain things. So, because whatever that they're trying to do, that they don't want that to happen. But at one time, they didn't care if people did it because they need it, because they're trying to restructure the system. So this is why they're allowing like immigrants and allowing people to steal a lot of shit in certain cities, not in all cities, because if it was something out of their control, it would be happening in all the cities. But you notice only certain cities, and they're allowing immigrants and people are squatting. They're doing all this shit because they're trying to change the system. And then when it so-called collapse, not really collapse, but when it so-called collapse, people can say, oh, it's because of this, it's because of the immigrants, it's because of all the theft. That's what the stores get closed, but it's really none of that. It's just the system just changing. That's it. They just gotta switch it up because to maintain power, they have pretty much to switch it up to maintain power. So they gotta switch up the system. So all that scamming shit, like people be thinking, "Oh, I'm a hacker, I'm a scammer, I'm getting over on the system." You ain't really getting over on the system, really. Because if they really want to shut that shit down, that shit will be shut the fuck down. To be honest, I remember I see this one YouTube channel. He like interviews people who do crime. This nigga like he's a self-proclaimed scammer. He went on this nigga's page. This nigga has over 1 million subscribers. He's all saying, "I just got this lady's credit card information because I picked up the RFID through the Bluetooth from the Bluetooth device because he made a device where he could pick up credit card information. You know when you tap your card on the terminal, it picks up the information and from tapping it. He's able to create that type of device where he walks by somebody and it picks up their information. So he's all fucking saying this type of shit on the YouTube. I'm like, they're obviously watching you, and for you to even get that technology, like they obviously they know about it because they will create credit cards and shit that don't have that ability to do that. But they just I'm saying they don't care. They don't give a fuck. So well, I don't say they don't care because at the same time they can't have too many people do it because if too many people do it, then it's gonna fuck up the system. So they do care. This is why you don't have. This is why the average person doesn't know how to do it because they keep it. Is because it's easy to do. It's just like tying your shoes is easy, but you got to know how to do it. Getting to the bank or getting to the directions to get from your house to the bank, it's easy to get there. But if you don't know the city, then it's hard. That's how hacking is. It's like it's not that it's hard to hack. It just there's no education for it. You have to know somebody to really because they don't teach you that shit in school. Rightfully, which makes sense because they don't want people hacking their shit, but it's not that it's hard to learn. It's just there's nobody. The knowledge is very. You got to know somebody for them to teach you. It's not something you just go on to YouTube and fucking learn that shit. Because that's how people say, "Oh, information is on the internet." We're in the age of Aquarius. Like, no, not all information is on the internet. There's some things you got to know somebody to know. Certain things that's just not on the internet. Certain things that if you knew, you're not gonna just put on the internet. So not everything you can learn. Some things you need to know somebody on the internet, or maybe you go on the internet, but you got to go into a dark web somewhere and learn it. You can't. Not everything you're learning on the internet. Ain't nobody teaching you everything that they gotta that they know. Not everyone's teaching you everything they gotta know or that they know. Yeah, but then ain't nobody joining the chat. I'm about to end this live, so if anybody got any last questions before I end this shit, yeah. Yeah, there's a cash app though if anybody wants to send anything. Yeah, shout out to Jay Vass and everybody out there who sent some. But I'm just chilling right now, guys. Yeah, and I'm gonna be starting my fasting group on Facebook. If anybody wants to join, I know I told you guys I'm gonna be starting this, but I'm literally gonna start this tomorrow. I'm gonna make it tomorrow. I've been really busy lately. I've just been busy just trying to get things done and situated. And I'm just saying, I've just been busy living my life. Like YouTube and the internet ain't my fucking life. I just been busy. I'm not even busy. I'm just living my fucking life, doing shit normal. It ain't even like I'm busy. I'm just living my fucking life, doing the shit that I'm doing. Ain't no really no such thing as busy. People who talk about they busy means that they're used to not doing shit. So when they're doing shit, they're busy. No, and they get like, it's just you living your life. When you have to say you're busy, that means you're used to not doing shit in life. And now that you got to do something, it's like you're busy. You feel like it's hectic and it's too much, and it ain't busy. Just you doing what you're supposed to be doing. I don't like to say that. Oh, I'm busy, and till the end of the day, what are we all doing? Whether you're busy or not, you experiencing life. You live in life. You're learning every fucking day. Going through experiences that make you learn and grow. That's all we doing every day. So there ain't no such thing as no being busy, really. If you're really gonna get technical, yeah. But I'm gonna make my YouTube. I'm gonna make my fasting group. Yeah, it's gonna be a each. What I'm gonna do is it's gonna be a fasting group, and every week we're gonna do a mandatory 1 day fasting. You could obviously do whatever the fuck you want to do, but every week it's gonna be a day we just fast, just for 1 day. I'm gonna be doing fasting more, and if you guys want to do it more, then that's fine. But every day it's gonna be a certain day. Probably every Tuesday we do a fast, and it's gonna be a 1 day fast, and we'll start it at 1 day just to get everybody adjusted to doing a fast. I might even come on you. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be doing live streams, and I'm gonna be speaking about it on the day of the fast, and I'm gonna be going through it, and because I wanna we gotta make this a norm. You got if you're not making fasting and this health lifestyle normal, it's pretty much pointless because you're either thriving or you're dying. You see what I'm saying? You're either thriving or you're dying. So we want to be thriving. If you're not doing this, your body's going to be dying. And people say, "Oh, we're all supposed to die." Yeah, we're all supposed to die, but there's different levels of death. There's death. Dying is just a change of consciousness. You're always going to have a body and a mind. It's just going to be in a different reality. You're going to have a different awareness, but you always have your spirit can never just be because your spirit is like nothing. Your spirit has to create something. It always has to create something. So when you're dying in a positive state, you're just going to transfer into a different consciousness. You're not even going to know, like, you don't remember when you were born. So when you die, it's going to be kind of similar. Like, you're just going to be in a different world, in a different body experiencing. Just like the first memory you had, you're probably young, just playing in the playground, or you don't remember really. Fucking saying hi to me, I don't know you. You don't remember. You just came up in this bitch. So that's going to be the same thing when you die. When you die in a healthy, holistic, cleansed mind state, the body you create, next one is going to be better. You're going to transition to that in a peaceful way. It's not going to be like death, like somebody that's on a low vibration. Because at the end of the day, they talk about, we don't have enough time and we're going to die. You only live once. That's bullshit. Once you die, you're going to be in a different, just like when you go to sleep and you dream. You don't remember when you go to sleep. You just start dreaming and you start having an experience in the dream. And then when the dream ends, you awaken and you're doing this. It's the same fucking thing. When you die, you're just going. I'm not saying you're going into a dream world because it ain't no dream world because that's the real, wherever you at, you're at the real world. That's what you're experiencing. Whatever you're experiencing is what you are. Like we're experiencing this right now. You can call this a dream if you want, but is it really a dream or is just you just being aware of some shit? Because you always got to remember, dream is a language. It's an English word. Somebody created it. It's not really what it is. Like somebody just called it a dream. Just like they say, "Oh, this is a video game. This is the Matrix." I seen this one guy's channel. He's like, "We live in a Matrix. We live in a video game." And then after that, he said, we don't know what we're in. But if you say we don't know what we're in, why would you say we live in a matrix and a dream? And where did you get that word matrix and dream from? Well, we're not in no matrix. We're not in no dream. This ain't no video game. This really ain't nothing, to be honest. This isn't. If anything, this is an experience. I'm aware of something. And how can you say that we don't know nothing? He's like, nobody. We don't know what is going on. We do know everything. He's like, like nobody taught us. He said nobody taught us what we're doing, or nobody taught us what's the truth about reality. He's like, what do you mean? Because the way he was coming at it was everything that you know, somebody had to teach you. So you can't know something without somebody telling you, which is bullshit because you're aware and you're able to experience. Nobody had to teach you how to be aware and experience. When you look at me, when you're aware of your surroundings, when you feel, nobody had to teach you that. Nobody taught you that, so you knew how to do that shit. So if you knew how to do that and you came to this world, nobody brought you here. You had to, because if somebody brought you here, that means that they're your God. They have more domain and power over you, which that's not true because your spirit is your spirit controls your all everything. So if you came here, it's because your spirit brought you here. You made a choice to come down here. So if you came here, you have to know everything about this place. You can't not know it. It wouldn't make sense because you wouldn't even be able to come here. It's like if you don't know how to if you don't know how to go to Africa, how would you know how to get on the airplane to go to Africa? Like you have to know about Africa. You have to know where you're going. You can't just go there. So now you have to have a conscious decision to even come here. So always keep that in mind. Like people say, "Oh, you don't know everything." I do know everything. Tell me I don't know everything, but then at the same time, tell me that I don't know everything. But how do you know I don't know everything if you just said you don't know everything, dummy? But I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna end this live stream, guys. It was good making this live video, and I'm out.